And we're live. Time to send out these notifications. Welcome, everybody. This should be the final episode, the season finale of MechWarrior 5 mechs that you guys voted for. The Raven, Wolfhound, Hunchback, Wolverine, Warhammer, Thunderbolt, Loader King, Zeus, Highlander, and Nightstar. After this, so we're going to do a little bit of more testing. There's a few mechs that I wanted to kind of fully review. And then we are going to round things out with the awards. Yes, there's going to be an award ceremony at the very end. We're going to be, briefly looking at all of the mechs that we have used. And then I'm going to sort them into the winners category, the losers category, and then from those, we will have the junk awards and the MVP awards. The best and the worst. And then I guess there will be people in the middle who weren't good enough or bad enough to go either way. I'm not going to waste too much time, though, because we do got to get a lot to do. So let's, first, how are you doing, Dr. Sheriff Crab, my co-host?
I'm pretty good, and I tell you what, I'm pretty excited to get this wrapped up and see what we think of all these mechs. There's a lot to get through, as we described already.
That's true. Yeah, there is definitely a lot to do. So let me greet everybody in chat real fast. So Freddy 4x4, how is it going? Chubby says, rip internet. Yeah, hopefully, I just reset the internet. Hopefully that does fix it. If it doesn't fix it, you'll just have to, wait in between the breaks in the internet, etc. Hopefully me resetting the internet fixes, though. Happy Teddy Bear says, howdy, folks. Good to be here for the last episode. Yes, not the last episode of MechWarrior, but the last episode of this season. There will be an off season where you guys can vote for the next mechs, and then we'll be back after a break. Okay. Oh, Deadly Nightshade says, hello, guys. I am always here. Just don't know much about this game. Hey, I am happy. It's always a pleasure to play for you, Deadly Nightshade. And there will probably be another game vote as well. So if you want to see something else on the Twitch channel, don't forget the vote in the Discord. Dara says, happy Friday, Fox, Sheriff, and Company. I hope we get some drinking shots. You might be able to get some, because I do have my share of rum and Irish whiskey.
Well, I am 2 drinks down already. I've run out of beer, and I'm on a whiskey already, so
oh, man.
Don't you worry about that. I am well liquored up.
Well, let's get started. Like I said, there's a lot to do, and I don't know. We'll probably have to run a little into overtime. But you know what? That's just how it's going to have to be. So, what are we doing today? Today, we are going to be doing 2 things. We are going to try out a few more of the mechs, because some of them we didn't get enough time with. And then we are going to be doing a review at the very end. We're going to talk briefly about every single mech we acquired, very quickly. Then we are going to have a winner's list, a loser's list, and then finally the Mech Awards, the Junk Awards, and the MVP Awards. Who will be there? And you guys can tell us what you think as well. You'll hear from both of us and from the audience, so it should be pretty good. We also have some requests from last-minute redesigns, which I do have. I have 2 redesigns that we're going to be trying. One from Dara and one from, I wrote his name down. Where is it? Up. And one from Dork224. So we do have other things. We got a full dance card. I'll put it that way. Dara with 10 memberships. They went to Elias Tucson, Axelot, Another Gamer 32, Black Metal Baron, The Scottish Gamer, Suzaku Zero, Michael Kapuska, Hi-Fi, Dennis, and Bundy Games. Congratulations, everyone who received a membership. And once again, thank you for starting us off with such a badass start, Dara, for the generous 10 memberships to people on the channel. Once again, thank you so much, Mr. Dara. And yes, we will be, in fact, I think we're trying your model immediately. Isn't that the case, Sheriff?
Hey, Black Widow?
Yeah, that was a request. So what I'm
No.
going to do is we're just going to look for a mission, and whatever fits is what we're going to do. Like, what is this? Fight against the odds? I don't know if we want to fight against the odds with experimental mechs. Like, let's just look. We're just going to look for a applicable match, and we'll try some of the mechs out. But what were you saying, Champ?
I'm going to use my Black Widow first, because I want to get that out of the way, and then I'm going to convert it into Dara's, and then I also want to. We also need to try out the other one as well, the 6RB that was modified. Into
Yes. Yeah, I just modified that one as well.
Yeah, so there's kind of three missions I need to run to complete my own testing, and then I'm kind of finished.
So over here we've got, this is a duel, a team of 4 mechs. See, all of a sudden they're bringing out the small time battles. Where are the big time battles? That's what we want. I don't want these like little like pussy missions. I want some like big time missions. Let's go back to Terra. Like what I'm looking for are like just like the ones where you got to fight like 12 enemies or something. Like that's really what that gives us a better idea of how competitive these mechs are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I don't need to see if I can beat a mech in a one-on-one duel, basically. Okay, let's see what we got here.
1-on-4 duel, maybe.
Let's try this one. And like I said, I'm just going to take whatever mission is applicable. If it's like a light mech free-for-all, but it's against like 12 enemies, then I guess we'll test out the light mechs. Whatever comes first.
Yep, no problem.
So over here, too small. Oh, here we go. Team combat with teams of 4 mechs. No weight. Okay, here we go. No weight restriction. So let's just go salvage. It doesn't really matter what we take.
Extreme weather warning is in effect, Commander. You'll have limited visibility.
Okay, so in this, I want to try out. I really want to try out the IDM. The IDM has not been given a proper. It just wasn't given a fair shake. So the IDM is going to go back in, and then I'm going to send in the Zeus's just because they have they can keep up pace with us. So I'm going to be going in the IDM. The IDM is the triple AC5 rapid fire model that, like I said, it needs to be given another shot. And then over here we've got I think this is the perfected version of the Black Widow that the sheriff wanted to try. So we're going to try this one out. We'll see how it goes.
So that's kind of like the sheriff's model, and I'm looking forward to trying out Dara's idea as well. I think it could be quite nice with the light rifles.
Hey, Mech fans, it's your boys Jackson and Cotton.
Yes, Jackson and Cotton right off the bat. Why not? So what are these guys going to do? Like, who are they going to fight is the question.
They're doing nothing.
Okay, let me just shoot some shots.
Yeah, I was going to say. Let's hope they don't come for us. Oh, don't shoot at him!
Well, I guess we're getting things started. Oh, this thing shoots so fast. The recoil is so intense. But this is what I wanted to try. I don't know what I'm hitting, but I'm hitting something. This mech actually needs... It actually requires time to, like, cool down, even though it's AC5s, and AC5s are quite heat efficient.
Damn, he'll have to battle through without one of his legs now. It will take some real legwork for him to
This thing is lighting people up, I will say that.
Yeah, and I'm really like... Oh, we got hot emoji.
To a metal graveyard.
I'm really liking these mind lasers, to be honest.
That's why you sleep with a nightlight.
Are we actually hosing people down at a distance?
Building his personal museum of defeated rivals, Jackson.
There was another yellow mech in here.
Okay,
No,
so purple and gray have started fighting. The last member of that's the he's totally disarmed though. I think we should move on to the north after this and take on the other group.
Wiped off the board completely. Yeah, that means they won't be eligible to compete any longer.
Okay, I'm taking the lance and we're moving north.
I'm joining you. Just taking the scenic route.
And then, like, I guess, you know, purple and the other group are fighting over there.
Oh, there's a Corsair there, which is kind of ugly.
On the other hand, they have
ammo
some
range.
smaller mechs as well.
Some offensive weapons have been impacted. I
Engaging.
think his
See if I
ability
can-
to come out on
Oh, I
top
see
will
that.
be
Like,
impacted
that's
too.
low armor already on him. Like, I'm just gonna like shoot in his general direction. I don't know what I'm hitting, but I'm hitting something. I'm just gonna target whoever is like presenting a shot to me, to be honest.
Clean off. Now things really kicked off in here. Get it? Cotton, there's another opponent down for the count.
They're really going for me.
Overrated, Jackson.
Which is fine.
Another opponent bites the dust.
Ooh, I gotta cool down.
Doesn't sound tasty.
Yeah, this thing actually overheats, which is saying something, since, like I said, the AC-5 is a pretty heat-efficient weapon.
That machine won't be running any mecathlons anytime soon.
I will also say it does go through ammo very rapidly. It is a rapid-fire weapon, though. I mean, it should go through ammo pretty quickly.
A farewell wave from the arm, truly touching. Cotton, this could be a turning point. His
Okay,
weapon
so
systems
I
have
don't
been
know the
damaged.
situation over
This could
there.
spell trouble. I can spell
5 mechs
trouble
left, anyway.
already. TRBL trouble. Erroneous.
I already feel bad for this longbow.
Oh, it's the gray. Gray has. Oh, he's actually somehow roaching, even though 3 members of his lance have been destroyed.
That Looter King could be a little bit annoying.
We're at a critical stage here. One of his weapons is out of commission. This could really shift the momentum.
Trying to be a little more accurate right now.
He got absolutely hammered. Should change his name to the Nail.
I haven't heard that one from them. That was a new line. Okay, I am almost out of ammo.
And the
I did
Nice.
get him before I've got 43 shots remaining.
Just to break the world record for the longest nap.
Moving on lance target.
That's crazy. This has a lot of ammo, too.
Oh man, he got him flush. He dealt some serious damage there. Yeah, not the card he wanted, Jackson.
So if you hold down single fire, it shoots twice and then changes
We could be
weapons.
witnessing the birth of a brand new star of the arena circuit. Oh, I'm shaking. Probably because I need to use the
Yorg
lock.
Slayer says he can't wait to have an update to make Jackson and Cotton less frequent. I'd love not at all. That would be amazing.
Yeah, me too. They are really annoying. Right, I'm gonna modify this thing.
Let me just take some stuff to make some money real fast.
Can you throw this thing in the bin and bring it back out to Black Widow?
Yeah, I can do that. What was your thoughts on that design?
It's okay. I would say nothing. It doesn't like set me alight, and it doesn't disappoint me. It's like it's functional. I would say.
You'll have to
Doesn't
try
this-
the IDM because, like,
I will.
it's
Alright.
a kind of a weird model.
Just to get some light rifles.
Like,
in there.
it needs a second opinion as well.
Yeah. Okay. And you know, I really liked all the AC2 versions of those kinds of mechs, so I don't think I'll be too disappointed with it, to be honest. No, I need ammo for this thing.
Defiant says that he would be okay if Cotton only spoke when an enemy was eliminated. Yeah, I mean, just less is more when it comes to, like, Jackson and Cotton. There's no doubt about that. Okay, while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and find the next mission. It's not this one, that's for sure. One thing that's nice is since we're in an industrial hub, it makes it very easy to upgrade, refit, you know, everything is already the cheapest options. One of the advantages to farming the Solaris missions in general. Also, I'm pretty sure we had a mech we salvaged that I could sell off. Oh, that was an SA-3 Zeus. Wonder how much it's worth. 4.5 million C-bills for the Zeus SA-5 or SA-3.
Can you stick some large lasers on this thing and see what it does?
Team combat. This one isn't very interesting. I'm going to be trying the 6RB out next for sure.
Oh, okay. Well, I just need to, this thing repair, and then I'm good to go.
Team combat with 4 mechs. You know what? Let's do team combat, and then what we'll do is we'll only deploy us. That way, like, we fight like 4 enemies.
Sounds good to me.
Mind the weather, Commander. It'll compromise your visibility.
But did you say you needed time for that thing to repair?
I think so.
Well, I think if I just equip it in the... It'll force it to do that. Let me just give you a mech. Cancel. There we go. So I'll just remove these guys. That way we have the 4 mechs to ourselves. And we'll try the 6RB. So, okay, I am trying a streamer or a viewer requested mech. This is the Warhammer 6RB with a PPCX and a binary laser. And then the rest was up to me. And that was from Dork224. And then that was from a YouTube request. And then from a Discord request, we've got Dara, who wanted to see a 4 light rifle build on the Black Widow. The other weapons, once again, left up to personal preference. And so we're going to try that. And we will see how it goes. I'll probably have to redo my macros or my weapon groups.
We're moments away from a big
You're playing.
clash here in the arena. These
What happened?
look like they're
You're like
ready
in the
to
air
put
on my
a
screen.
hell
Oh,
of a
no, you're
show.
not anymore.
Oh god, maybe we should have brought it. I guess I misread it. I thought this was a mission where it was going to be a 4-on-4. Well, this could be a bad idea. All right, the Loader King is coming up on us first.
This match is finally kicking into gear.
And that literally
This
just
could prove to be a huge turning point here. Their weapon systems just suffered a huge blow.
Damn, these guys are like rushing up on me too.
He's facing some early adversity here. Let's see how he responds.
Okay, I've wasted him. He's down. I already got like, oh, I lost my binary laser. I didn't think they were gonna
target.
I didn't think they were gonna be. You know what? Let's get our other. I didn't realize that this was what this was going to be. Let's go ahead and get our. Let's get all 4 of our allies in here. I misread the mission objective. I thought this was just a 4-on-4.
Yeah, and I think I definitely. I wonder if I could maybe really quickly change this into 4 pulse lasers rather than 2 large lasers.
Yeah. Go for it. Go for it.
Oh shit! We need to fast forward the time again.
There.
Okay, and I'll really quickly change this because I really did not like those lasers at all.
Okay, let me know when, and then I will advance time.
1 little second.
Oh yeah, you have to pull something off if you do pulse lasers.
I needed to actually put something on because I had large lasers in beforehand, not medium lasers. So I actually had to add more heat sinks in.
Okay, team
good to go.
combat.
Hello,
The
Macronox.
weather's really kicking up, Commander.
Okay, so
Your
I'm gonna
visibility will be
use the
limited out
6RB.
there.
You're gonna use the Black Widow, and then I'll just bring these guys will stay the same. Okay, so this time we've got backup, which is good. Since it's like, one thing I don't like about the arenas is that they're not very clear on what the mission objectives are. I wish they used more plain, or I wish they were just more direct with what you can expect from them.
About to get underway. Tango spotted, and it's a beauty. Copy. Lance relocation confirmed.
Oh, I gotta change my weapon groups.
Relocated, Commander. Things are heating up now.
Target acquired.
Okay, this is already going a lot better.
Oh, there goes an arm. Control your
So, like, the
fire.
binary laser is more of, like, a mid-range weapon. So, like, this version is more encouraged to fight at a mid-range. It does have a bit of a little more of a ranged knockout punch is what the binary laser is going to promise.
Target acquired. Incoming missile.
Coordinated attack target received.
The catch to the binary laser is you need to be pretty accurate with it. You need to make sure that you're pretty on target. This guy's definitely elite. He's barely taking any damage right now. Look at that damage distribution. He's just taking the damage like perfectly right now. He takes so much effort to bring down.
Too bad it's going critical. Copy.
Now we've got an urban mech scurrying around.
An arm just got shredded in the chaos.
I will say the heat is going pretty well on this mech, which does surprise me a little bit.
Shredded. Let's see how they respond. Wipe the floor with the opposing forces.
This guy's leg is damaged. There goes his leg.
Looks like someone just lost a metal limb.
Target destroyed.
Oh, this is going so much better. Just having those extra guys there.
We are rallying on you, Commander.
That's one fast urban. Yeah, that urban mech actually has a.
Rip that
So like
piece
right there,
into
I'm able to
shreds.
finish it off with the binary laser due to the accuracy.
Target acquired.
Commander's target received. Well, that's one less appendage to worry about.
Target
The match comes to an end. Mason was full value for that victory.
So there we go. We got to try the binary laser PPCX, and then I think Sheriff went with multiple small pulse lasers. How did you feel about yours?
Did four medium pulse lasers and four light rifles, which is what Dara suggested. I quite liked it. I do want to try some AC2s as well, but I definitely did not hate that at all.
And we also leveled up. I didn't dislike the one binary laser, one PPCX was interesting. Like, yeah, I tried to play a little more at a distance. I would say it probably would do way more damage with two PPCXs, but it was definitely there were definitely a few opportunities where an enemy had an armor breach and that the binary laser like was really zeroing in on that target. It probably would be better in the normal game rather than in arena though, because in arena you have a tendency to
Yeah.
oh, that's a nice looking heavy hammer. A level 5 heavy hammer. That's one of the ones we never use, but that's because we didn't get any melee capable heavies. Like we didn't have any dedicated melees in the heavy. It was interesting though. I think it would be better in the normal game where enemies are more at a distance. That would be my feel on it, but I didn't dislike it either. Like I feel like it was perfectly fine. Not overwhelming, but perfectly fine.
So Dara's asking if there's any heat issues with that. Literally none at all, but I do have a combined heating of cooling, of 2.6, so there's a lot of cooling capabilities, but absolutely zero heat issues whatsoever. Are you wanting to try that quad light rifle build, or do you mind if I revamp one last time?
I will try whatever the final version of your design of it is.
Yeah, I want to try one more rebuild of this thing, and then I will decide which one I like best. Can
Okay,
you
we
throw
got
up
another
any cold
team
storage for
combat,
me
so
again?
this will be perfect for.
I might want to rebuild this one really quickly if you don't mind throwing it in.
Yeah. Oh, you want me to?
Yeah,
Oh,
I always want total restrip. Just to quickly change them. I don't know if there's anything else you want to change while you're doing that.
No, I'm good.
Okay, just bear with me. Sorry.
It's no big deal. There was a hero mech. We're not collecting. I'm not collecting any more mechs. Like, the collection phase is over. I know people are like, "Whoa, get the mech, get the mech, get the mech." It's like we have collected every mech that we were assigned to collect. So now we're just trying to
I can't see it.
get things done. Got to complete the job.
This is probably not enough ammo, but we'll give it a go.
Okay, it's done, and I'm going to send us in. So this is a hotter biome. That'll certainly be interesting.
Extreme weather warning is in effect, Commander. You'll have
Also,
limited
let me put some
visibility
of
out there and
these.
have to contend with sensor malfunctions.
Go and sell these. We got 1.1 million for that Crusader. We got 2.1 million for that Cyclops. I'm gonna use, once again, I do want to continue trying the IDM because I felt like I didn't get a chance to try out the IDM. Although I also did get a chance to try out your Thunderbolt Tallman, so I might try the Tallman here.
That thing slaps.
The match is underway. Our combatants are free to unleash hell.
Okay, interesting. Let me fire some shots overhead. Maybe we can get them to come out.
Oh, there's one of my favorite mechs.
New
Bunchy
target
2P.
Banshee.
Oh yeah, I see that. Has an ERPPC. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's weird. And
Looks like
oddly,
my
three small
PPCX
pulsators-
doesn't go far enough.
We
We
got,
do have an
Atlas.
Atlas coming up on our right, though.
On the commander's target. Right, commander's target is going
Okay,
wowie.
we're through him. He didn't get to do a lot.
New target
They're engaging now. The other team, the Vest, is coming in at like maximum speed with its supercharger.
That match has lost a medal advantage in spectacular fashion. Lands an effective
That's the end of
strike.
him.
Mason knocks another mech out of
Yeah,
the
small
fight.
pulse lasers do not play games.
A forced amputation. His opponent just delivered a massive
Even with me
blow.
being in a pretty hot
Weapon is
biome, you know, they're not doing that bad.
Another opponent off the board. Mason is brimming with confidence.
Oh, I got my ass kicked.
This could be a turning point. His mech is on the brink of a shutdown.
There we go. Right now, like I am starting to overheat, so I'm trying to pick my best shots.
That mech's heat levels
Where
are
I get shot from?
skyrocketing.
I think.
He better adjust or he'll be a sitting duck.
I will
Another
finish this guy off.
bites the dust. A crippling blow. His weapon is rendered useless. Defeat has claimed the entire
Yeah, this mech
team.
is pretty nasty. Even with us being in a hot weather area.
target acquired.
I need to retry this mech. For whatever reason, I just got completely focus fired with these guys.
Do you want to relaunch this one?
His firepower just took a hit.
We could, in theory, if you didn't want to try and find another mission, yeah.
Target acquired.
Direct strike. Took
Well, I
it
kind of
down.
want to try different mechas out, and you know, like that. When it gets repaired, it'll find something when it gets repaired. But yeah, there's no doubt about it. This mech is great. There's no problems with this mech at all. Even in a hot environment, it's doing very well.
Display. Downing another opponent.
Target
Jake Mason grabs the win. I can already see the sponsors lining up to sign with him.
Yeah, no problem with the Tallman. Like it performed right to my expectations, just like the Loader King X2A or X3A, whichever one is the laser boat.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna need to retry that one. Good thing we have loads of these left.
Yeah, and what else are we going to do with it? So let me go ahead and sell some of this stuff as well. So we got the Quick Draw P, 5P, 1.1 million, and the Griffin P, 1.1 million. Let's do Tonnage Descending. I think that's the easiest way to find the other mechs. Okay, let's keep looking for other missions. Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. Dara says he felt that the quad AC2 on the Black Widow never has enough ammo. And
Well, I
that was
just ran
before Rapid Fire came out.
Well, that's just what I ran there, and I didn't run out of ammo, but I did get absolutely annihilated with damage. Like, they really focus fired me, which could be a problem. If I want to see if they do that again, because it seemed very interesting. I put some upgrades on it just to increase damage and range and things. I want to see if that makes a difference as well.
Okay, so we're going to be trying out our, upgraded light mechs in this one. This one is Light Mech Team Combat.
That's interesting. Well, we only have 3.
That's fine. We probably only need 3. I'm going to try out the Hugin, I guess. Because I did upgrade the Hugin.
I'm gonna bring the 3 in.
I think all of them have upgrades, yeah.
I need a new pilot, by the looks of it.
That's fine. There we go. We'll send these in. They should be really fast. I'm pretty sure I upgraded the speed on every one of them and also gave them anchor turn. I think they all have better sensors too.
Jackson and Khan with you on FC Broadcasting, bringing you another thrilling arena match. These Mech Warriors are making their bid for fame, glory, and stacks of C-bills. Goosebumps!
Oh, I need to do my weapon groups. There we go.
New target, Commander. Target acquired.
Time to chase some idiots down.
The trees are behind them. They're locked into a battle now. Only unpleasantries from here on out, Jackson. He sends another opponent down with authority. He made it look easy. Another opponent bites the dust.
This is a lot of javelins. I'm not happy to see so many javelins, I will say that.
Khan, it looks like some of his offensive capabilities have been neutralized. Yeah, he'll need those to win, Jackson.
Looks like they're ignoring me for some reason. I mean, I guess I'll take it.
The countermeasures?
The
By the way, I have
Hugin
countermeasures.
doesn't have any, ironically.
Kelsey sends another opponent packing to the scrapyard, building his personal museum of defeated rivals, Jackson. We're at a critical stage here.
This mech is really good. I mean, this mech is like a born interceptor, so it's very good at like hunting enemies down. Like, very few mechs are going to be faster than this one.
Acquired.
Cotton, he's
Must be really enjoying this mech as well.
on the scrap heap, starting to build a tower of himself.
We're kind of back a little more on my home turf using fast mechs again as well.
Wow, he's putting on a show. They're gonna have to renovate this place when he's done. 'Cause
That's the end of him.
the house down.
Yeah, the Hugin, like I said, the Hugin is a really nice interceptor. It's really good at like hunting down these other like crummy mechs.
I just hope they don't come back as ghosts. That's why you sleep with a nightlight.
Like, this thing's a perfect example right here. Like, this thing cannot escape me.
God, there's another opponent down for the count. Counting is so overrated, Jackson.
New target.
Direct hit, the arm goes flailing. Oh, I hope that wasn't his bowling arm.
Target.
And the team's history. History. Like my attempt to break the world record for the longest nap. KO'd another opponent.
We are
Only
slicing
a
through
five
these
counted.
idiots.
I'm starting to take a little bit of damage, but functional at the minute.
So I have a top speed of 149 kilometers now, up from the original like 129.6. And then with the double anchor turn, it definitely helps to like steer the mech around, because the faster your mech goes, the slower you can steer. So the anchor turn, very, very important to have.
Oh, he took a hit. Some offensive weapons have been impacted. I think his ability
It's like
to come out on top
the
will be
SRMs do the
too.
damage, the punch through the armor, and then the highly accurate machine guns let you basically finish off any armor breach you create.
Target acquired.
It's funny that you can't actually do that in this game. You can do it in the tabletop, though.
God, the entire team is wiped off
I
the
wonder,
board
is that
completely.
a
That means
sort
they
of
won't be
ode to
able
the
to
tabletop
compete.
game?
Yeah, most likely.
Oh, he just took a
A
massive
perfect
blow.
example of how I'm able to just chase these idiots down.
Too attached to it.
Oh, and also lag.
This guy is so slow. It's so easy to focus fire right on his center torso there.
Cotton, this is a big moment here. One of his weapons has been taken out. He could be in serious trouble. I know I would be soiling myself in
Nice.
the cockpit, Jackson.
Well, I think we can say that the Hugin did a pretty good job. The Grinner looks like it lost an arm. I'm not sure if that was the PPCX arm or not, but
It was.
I'll be sticking around for his autograph.
Obviously. What else would it be?
you know, whatever. Like, you know, this is the end of the series. We're gonna throw everything we've got at this, so it's not
The
even.
PL did pretty good too, but it definitely took a beating.
Oh yeah, this thing has 700,000 C-bills and repairs. There's no way that isn't the PPCX arm.
Oh, it definitely was.
Okay, so we tried those mechs out. Like, yeah, the Hugin did a really good job. I was very happy with the Hugin. That very swift, like basically 150 kilometers. Very, very nice. Let me see. What other missions do we have here? Fight against the odds. You want to fight against the odds?
I want to fight against the odds.
Okay, we're fighting against the odds. All right, we can bring anything we want here. I'm going to make sure we bring our good pilots, though. Here's a 59 out of 60, a 52, and a 43. Did you want to use the Warhammer Black Widow?
Yeah, I'll use it again.
Okay, let me dump some of these other mechs out, though. I'm probably going to use the IDM again, because once again, that is one of the mechs that I want to test out. I'm just going to put some crap on real fast so we can skip forward.
So that would be putting some upgrades on, like completely focusing on upgrades for ballistics, like all the ballistics range, all the damage. So the things have way more range and way more damage. It's interesting. It's funny, like when you look at the firepower of the thing, at only 25.61, but when you start letting go with those 4 AC2 rapid fires, it really quickly builds up the damage.
Okay, so we're the DACA team because you got 4 AC2 rapid fires. I got 3 AC5 rapid fires. This is going to be on a Hoodoo Desert. Hopefully that doesn't fuck with us too much.
Yeah,
Here we go.
That maybe could be ugly. Hopefully we get a hill to shoot down from.
Here we go.
Let's see how many enemies
The
we're
match is
fighting.
underway and you can feel the
More than
intensity
we're fighting
in the
12,
air.
so we got to go through
Hopefully
3
these
lances.
Mech Warriors
And I've already been
follow the
starting to shot.
intensity
Wow,
inside
this
the
guy is
cockpit,
laying me out.
Jackson. Yes, that would be an unfortunate turn of events.
Incoming missile.
Well, he's shooting at me.
Now we're
There we
talking.
go. Now I got a lock on him.
Lay down fire on each other. I hope they brought their
I don't know what I'm shooting at, but I'm opening fire.
Oh, he's turning some heads. That sounds like it would hurt. Holy crap, Cotton. Tore their leg clean.
Have I ever mentioned that I hate fighting elite crusaders in particular?
He took a bite right out of his arm. This could be
Lord
a
King
huge
next.
turn of events here.
Okay, this should be
He pulls
easier.
out the victory. His fans will
Hose him
celebrate
down.
clap for him.
Okay, we
Yeah,
hosed
we
him.
are laying these guys out.
Push to the max.
But, there's
he's
a,
looking like a real hot potato
what
out
is that?
there.
Big target coming forward. It's a Archer. Watch out. They're crossing in front of us.
Ready at new location, Commandant.
Better hope the
He's
cooling
down,
gets
he's
the
down.
other thing or he'll be ripe for the picking.
I gotta take cover. They're really focusing on me at the moment.
New target captured.
Advance attack confirmed.
Target acquired.
All right, I'm focusing on this hatchetman. Oh my god.
Destroyed.
Moving on next target.
Commander's tail is about to explode. His mech is turning into a standing oven. Somebody grab the fire.
Oh god, I shut down. I need to turn off the emergency shutdown.
Damn, an ammo blast
We got a Lance left. We're in really good shape.
I'm a bit beat up.
The commanders requested.
Oh, so you are, yeah.
Target acquired.
On location, commander.
Oh my god, there's more Crusaders. There's 3, I think there's 3 Crusaders in that Lance.
I've arrived at the requested location, commander.
Oh man, he just donated his arm to the salvagers after that hit. Oh, that's very generous of him, Jackson.
I can't find a good line of sight. The good news is that they're trading fire with us, and we do have the advantage there.
I wish they would stop walking in front of me. That's so annoying.
Target acquired.
Really, bro? Really? Just gonna stand there?
Okay, I'm crossing over.
Good job.
Watch my damage. I'm really beat up crossing now.
Yep.
Cotton, this could be a turning point. His weapon systems have been damaged. This could spell trouble. I can spell trouble already. TRBL, trouble. Erroneous. He's giving them reasons to cheer. I'll be asking for his autograph.
Low.
Alright, this is the last target.
God, this thing is crazy.
Ammo case just erupted. I swear it wasn't me. I said ammo.
Wow.
Oh, phew. And
That was
all
against the
derailed.
odds, too. That
Jason
was like
shags the win.
a
We
whole
could be
company of
witnessing the
mechs
birth of a
against us.
brand new star of the arena circuit. Oh,
Well,
I'm shaking.
If you have any questions about the ammo in that thing, I held down the trigger basically that entire mission, and I still had about 400 rounds left.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, rapid fire. So that was one of the things we were wondering, you know, would rapid fire wind up being kind of a clutch hit at the end?
I mean, 1700 damage. That's kind of nasty though.
Yeah, and no building damage either, considering that, like, there were no building objectives.
No, that's a lot of damage for what's, you know, yeah. That made me rethink things actually.
And you get such massive range too. You get to engage at like standoff ranges. Like some of those guys we wasted that were like so far away from us.
Yeah, actually, the IDM and the Black Widow play together really nicely because you just like completely wear them down in no time. Imagine you had like a Mauler with 4 AC2 rapid fires alongside you as well. Just imagine 4 of those,
Just like a whole
16
lance.
AC2 rapid fires, just like obliterate everything. That
It's
was really
like
funny.
open fire.
Or like 4 Loader King IDMs with like 12 AC5 rapid. It was just like the game would probably crash just the amount of like just stuff going on. That quad AC2 rapid fire build has kind of like changed my mind a little bit on the whole thing.
I mean, it's like I said, it's interesting because it's like the ballistics are really strong at the end of the game. I've noticed. I mean, they're
Yeah,
pretty good in the
we-
beginning of the game, but like one thing that really seems to help ballistics are the upgrades seem to benefit ballistics a lot compared
It does.
to other ones.
We should run another mission, switch mechs. You should try the Black Widow in this format, and I might try the IDM in that format and see how that goes.
Okay, I can do that.
See what you think of it, because this is actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be, especially at like, because I've basically now I've added on 3 upgrades that increase range and velocity, so it's like 250 extra range, which really improves that mech. Yeah, let's run.
Okay, so this is a 2-on-2 duel because like we haven't used each other's mechs, so like this will be like a good way to kind of familiarize ourselves first.
Like that.
I will say one thing is you have to be careful about the recoil. Like it has a lot of recoil.
You don't, to be honest.
Like you basically to go fully automatic, you either need to accept that you're going to use up a ton of ammo, or you have to get a little closer.
Okay, got it. Well, let's see if I can control the recoil. I don't mind seeing if I can control. If I can't, then let me just see.
It basically
say,
feels like you're using a high-powered battle rifle. Like
Yeah.
you know, like I don't know what would be like that in CS:GO, but any type of like assault rifle that just kicks really hard.
Yeah, probably an AK-47.
I mean, it's not too bad once they get a little closer, but like at a distance, yeah, you're kind of like, man, what am I shooting at?
The AC-2 has perceived recoil, but actually your like reticle doesn't move from where you're aiming it at. It just says like perceived recoil. It just looks like it's having recoil.
Yeah, I will say the compensators, they do work on the AC-5, but it shakes your crosshairs up quite a bit. All right, let's see if we can hose these guys down.
Oh my goodness, yeah. It's very hard to see what you're looking at, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm just like, I know I'm hitting something. Okay, he was an elite. This guy's so dead. He's just standing still.
Jake Mason grabs the win. I can already see the sponsors lining up to sign with him.
It's like open fire.
It look easy. Another opponent falls.
I gotta be honest. That Black Widow is like kind of silly though.
It's like, let him have it.
It's a bit interesting, let's just say.
Okay, let him repair.
I don't know. I want to try this. Like, I mean, I want to try this like really against the odds now.
Okay, that's exactly what this one is. Now
Like-
I'll add our other guys in. Oh, let me get your guy back.
So, are you wanting to use the Black Widow again, or do you want to?
Yeah.
use the
We're gonna reuse them again.
Okay.
I mean, this is also considering the fact that we don't have a lot of practice with these particular models as well.
And it's also a completely different style. I mean, there's no other way of doing this.
So
where you
yeah,
just,
we're also like basically like
watch
learning
them.
on the fly. Yeah, I feel like there's gonna
Like, I
be
mean-
more close combat, so I'm just gonna put them in the PPCX, like the close combat models.
Okay.
The main thing we gotta watch out for is if the enemies all are basically like stop him. Because like that's what like you like the aggro can be an issue when the enemies are all like focused up on us. Ooh, not a lot of cover here. Don't like that. I'm hitting this
Try to get
grasshopper on the right side. Okay.
Destroyed.
Something on the
We got
left
a-
side is getting closer.
We got two things. Maybe with that charger, should we?
Yeah, sure. Go for the charger. Oh no.
Their firepower just took a hit.
We got close combat guys coming in.
They cannot afford to lose another leg after that.
Target destroyed.
More on the
Uh,
right
Zeus?
side. I'm targeting the Zeus.
Me too.
Nice work on the
I'm targeting the Loader King that was right next to the Zeus.
I can't see it.
Okay, he's lost target on it. Lost target on it.
On you, Commander.
Medium
we
mech
got
coming
a-
forward.
This
Oh,
is just
no.
stupid. Oh, this is just silly.
Lance is Oscar Mike.
These
On
could be.
station, Commander.
These could get an upgrade in ranking, I think.
Reposition complete. Waiting for orders, Commander.
Oh god, I'm lighting you up because I can't tell what I'm shooting at.
Target acquired.
Get him.
Engaging Commander's target. Jake Mason clinches
my
the victory.
goodness.
Sponsorship deals will be rolling in if he
That's
keeps
why
this up.
that's why I'm glad we decided to use some last minute tests.
I'm not being funny, but these two mechs could genuinely, like, you know, when we're talking about winners and losers, these could definitely, like, push up the ranking a little bit. That's just stupid.
It's fun too. That's the other thing. Like rapid fire is fun. I will say that.
It's really fun.
We can sell this Zeus off.
And I had no heat issues in that icy biome at all. It was just hold the trigger down.
Yeah, I mean we might make some last minute changes to like
Jeez. Yeah.
and I mean though that's against the odds too. Like that's against the odds. Like, you know, like we're not doing like easy missions. Like those have veteran pilots, elite pilots, you know, customized Solaris models and everything. Like those are pretty good
What
overall.
does everyone else think of this? Because like, this actual form of, I mean, it's not. I mean, I guess technically it's fire support, but I mean, we were fighting them at like 200 meters range and annihilating them as well. I'm not really sure what you would call this. This is like, it's almost like having an M60 machine gun and just like firing at any range you want. It's kind of strange. Like, this is not like by any means a orthodox battle sort of formation or strategy. This is really bizarre.
Okay, what other mechs do we need to try out? Because like we got pretty similar results even when we swapped mechs. I feel we've tried the light mechs out. I think we need to try out just some of the medium mechs. Let me see if I can find a medium battle.
Somebody makes a good point. Imagine how annoying it would be to get hit by all of those autocannons at the same time.
You just have to take cover, like you wouldn't be able to. You just have to take cover because, like in the lore, when you're getting hit by those, your mech has sound dampening. Like you do have some sound dampening, but like you don't have enough sound dampening. Like if you were being like shot by that many autocannons, even if it wasn't destroying your mech immediately, like you would just be deafened, or it would like you'd probably just like get rocked because it would move you around. Like it would start like it would basically be like if the mech were a toy and a human came up to it and started like vigorously shaking it, like that's what it would feel like inside. Like it would just start like rocking you around. And like you do have, once again, like the gyro of the mech helps with compensating for impacts, but there's only, you know, like the physics won't allow you, you know, like if you're getting shaken around, it's going to get transferred into the pilot seat. So you're basically going to start, like your head is going to start like getting shook around like on your neck. You're going to get like, you know, like combined with, like, you probably get sensory overload. The combination of getting shook around is shaking your stomach up, it's shaking your equilibrium up, it's shaking your neck up, it's shaking your eyeballs up, and then just the constant, just like deafening sound. Like you'd probably get like some kind of sensory overload.
The clans really don't know what's going to hit them whenever they get hit by 16 AC2 rapid fires.
Yeah, if we get the Bane is a clan, 100-ton clan assault mech that it either has 12 AC2s, Ultra AC2s, or 16 Ultra AC2s. I'll look it up real fast. That's why I'm hoping it's in the Bane.
Imagine that with like.
Okay, so if people are wondering what the Bane looks like, this is what the Bane looks like. It's like just like the walking like fire support. Okay, it has 10 Ultra AC2s.
Oh my goodness.
And 4 machine guns.
Oh, so basically it can have 14 if you really chuck them in there.
Yeah. If you could re-swap the hard points out, but yeah, it has.
What tonnage is that thing?
100 tons.
Damn.
This is what it originally.
This
is what it looked like before the redesign as well. It's the Kraken / Bane. Both names apply.
It's kind of like it kind of looks like an Annihilator crossed with a Night Star a little bit. It's quite cool.
Yeah, I didn't even know that it got an Ill-Clan redesign too. It must have recently got an Ill-Clan redesign. Look, you could see all the shell casings from it firing on the ground.
Yeah. Damn, that thing looks absolutely brutal.
It's like this thing is like its own lance of fire support. That's why I don't know if it's gonna be in the clans, but if it's in the clans, then I will totally use that just for like.
It looks really fun.
Like how many Ultra AC2s do you get? All. Okay, team combat 4-on-4, no weight restriction.
I mean, like, let's not forget here that we're running a 65 and a 70-ton mech and a 400-ton.
That's also true.
Well over, you know, it's kind of crazy to be honest. Like,
so I'm gonna try out.
I'm gonna use this again. I'm just like I'm not sure if I'm seeing this right.
I'm gonna use the vest.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna sneak around and like attack people with the vest.
Let's run it.
I'll probably need to set my weapon groups as though.
It's showtime!
Oh, well, this is not gonna help me. What?
Are we under attack immediately? No, I'm not done assigning my weapon groups. There we go.
Target acquired.
Here we go! All the pleasantries are behind them. They're locked into a battle now. Only unpleasantries from here on out, Jackson.
Okay, so now that I have this, I'm able to easily get into melee range, which is nice. I'm able to, like, use that hatchet to great effect now.
He just donated his arm to the salvagers after that hit. Oh, that's very generous of him, Jackson.
Target destroyed.
Connie just lost a leg out there.
Okay, so we cleared the initial group. Looks like there's a roaching team over here. We should probably deal with them on the far east side.
Direct hit, the arm goes flailing. Oh, I hope that wasn't his bowling arm. He sends another opponent down. With
Why
authority.
are
He
Jackson
ran
and
it
Cotton
easy.
so common? That's my next
Another
question. Oh, I
opponent
forgot my...
bites the dust.
Oh damn, night vision's like a flashbang.
Yeah, don't even bother with the night vision.
Incoming missile.
My weapon groups are still fucked up. There we go. There we go. I'm so sick of these guys. These like...
Damn, he'll have to battle through without one of his legs now. It will take some real leg work for him to win now.
I don't know if I mentioned it. I'm so tired of these...
Just hit the deck. I hope he wasn't too attached to it.
Crusaders. So many Crusaders. Leave me alone. The
Another
Crusaders.
opponent packing to the
They're so
scrapyard.
heavily armored. I'm so sick of fighting.
Defeated rival, Jackson. Damn, an ammo blast just
So I have a top speed of about 140 kilometers when I'm using the
Wow.
arena.
Cotton, he stacked another opponent on the scrap heap, starting to build a tower of himself.
Target acquired.
Oh, these are all longbows. Interesting.
Ammo case just erupted. I swear it wasn't me. I said ammo. Oh, phew. Delivered another opponent straight to the abyss. He's turning the arena into a metal graveyard. I just hope they don't come back as ghosts. That's why you sleep with a nightlight. Wow,
Man.
arm just got blown off.
Oh no, I had an ammo explosion.
Oh, damn. Okay, there's 4 enemies left. I guess that is one of the potential problems with having a bunch of ammo, is
Yeah.
Ammo Explosion City.
I probably should have put them in the arms instead of the torso to be fair, but anyway.
That is true. The arms aren't really used for anything else.
They may as well hold ammo.
I probably don't want to get too far ahead of everybody.
Hunchback. Target acquired.
Although their lance is looking pretty beat up.
That Corsair's in really bad shape.
They've taken some early licks there. They know they're in a fight. And the fight knows they're in it too. That doesn't make any sense in any capacity.
Target acquired.
Swung too early there.
Target destroyed.
Man, all I need is like a good mace. Like I have the axe on this, but what it really needs is the mace. But I didn't have a good mace.
Destroyed. Target acquired.
I'm gonna let you finish that guy off because I kind of escaped. Well, also not exactly the most ideal mission for long-range weapons.
A forced amputation. A farewell
You
wave
can't really
from
see
the
anything.
Truly.
I gotta say, the vest is pretty nice. It basically feels like a baby Highlander vest. I mean, you get the same kind of like high-speed action, easy into the melee, and then I'm packing the AC-10 or LBX AC-10, and then I've got like an SRM-6 and 3 small lasers. That's really nice.
Yeah, it's a nice.
And then like a
a lot of
top
damage,
speed of like 140 kilometers top speed when sprinting. Like it's pretty nice. I'll just take some weapons, I guess. Yeah, very, very happy with the vest. Like, I think the vest, like I said, it kind of feels like just like the Highlander vest Junior is the way I would describe it.
It's weird. The Warhammer and the Lord King together literally slays everything, but I feel like on their own they're not just as good. And certainly in close quarters, I mean, at long range, it's still incredible. But like, I feel like
Well, they do seem kind of like a bombardment style. Like, you know, they need to have that like extra bombardment. Well, it's just like LRMs. Like, you know, a team of LRM mechs are like way more devastating than just like a single one. Sometimes you need like a critical mass of firepower.
You do, yeah, I agree.
Okay, here we go. This is all medium mechs. This is our chance to try. Okay, we could try some medium mechs out here. Let me let all of our stuff repair. I'll just do money here, because like there's a good chance that none of those mechs will be available for salvage. The guy just recovered and now he's injured again. He's just like in and out. He's like in and out of his deathbed.
He's kind of a bit of a slacker, I think, that guy.
Also, let me throw one of these mechs in.
What would you like to use?
I am not going to use the vest because like I've already confirmed the vest's effectiveness. I'm going to use probably the 4P.
I'm going to run the 4SP, in fact.
Then I guess we'll just do the Hunchback team. There we go. We the Hunchbacks.
On the vest. Run it.
And like I said, I think we've mostly tested all the mechs out.
Yeah, I'm pretty content. They're like nowhere near each other, of course.
Oh yeah, our vest pilot gets to spam. I forgot about that. Okay, let me mess with my weapon groups a little bit. Wait, it didn't do anything. You know what? I'll just do this.
Okay, wait, what's my attackers here?
Okay, I see him.
His weapon system took a big hit. Another mech down.
Oh, I didn't even intend to go for. Oh man, that was nice.
Jesus, ammo just clicked off.
Centurion.
The whole team takes defeat.
This guy's a lot more tolerable.
What happened?
This guy, this commentator.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. He just kind of feels like generic commentator guy. Okay, there we go. Now my weapon groups are normal.
This is we go orange team next?
Sure. Looks like they're a Wolverine. Oh, we just lost. I don't know why they don't just constantly show us. Like, just show us where they are at all times. Because of that big of a deal.
They're on their way.
They got a vest coming in.
Target acquired.
Oh man, right through his back, right there.
The heat's cranking up in the cockpit.
Gave me it in return though.
Talk about a close call.
Okay, got him. I'm starting to overheat though.
Making it look easy. Another opponent falls. His heat sinks are failing.
Oof.
He could be in serious
All right, I
trouble
overheated,
here.
but we got him, so I think I'm safe.
Kind of interested to try out the Centurion actually.
Better get his head into the fight.
Yeah, the Centurion could be interesting. I know one of the Lost Tech enhanced ones are quite nice. They have like a very high running speed of like 97 kilometers running speed.
Damn, I just headshot that guy.
Target acquired.
One of them is behind us.
skills are on full
Okay, I finally
display.
sank my
Downing
heat.
Another opponent. Another opponent bites the dust. Jake Mason
Man, if you
is
shoot them in the
still
back,
victory.
it's just
He's
like, it's just
forging
game
glory
over with
with
this
the
many
Focus.
pulse lasers.
It's stinky. This thing's pretty good too, actually. But yeah, it's not. I wouldn't say it's as strong.
Yeah, this is basically like a baby Tallman. That's why the way I would describe the 4SP, or not the 4SP, the 4P, which is nothing wrong with it.
4P.
There's, you know, I don't think it's bad being a baby Tallman.
No, the Tolman's good. Damn.
Damn, yeah, 1,113 damage. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Oh, I don't. Oh no, that was you. I thought I was like, I lost 4 heat sinks. Sorry.
Yeah, I took a lot of damage on one of my
It's okay.
rear side torsos.
I barely took any damage. How did I lose 4? I must have read it wrong.
Let me
Yeah,
see.
Is that the one that travels at 81 kilometers an hour, Dara? That's the one I'm thinking of. The one that travels really
Yeah,
fast.
there's one that's really fast. It's basically like the old Centurion, but faster.
It kind of makes me wish. Imagine the P model was like the D 97. Holy crap! I kind of wish the P model was like a variant of the D, because a 97 kilometer an hour melee Centurion would be really nice.
Okay, so this
Commander,
is a
weather
4v4,
conditions
so
in
I'm
the
going to
area
drop
will
2 of our
restrict
allies.
visibility.
And I'm just going to try another medium mech that I haven't really messed with. I'll use the Quarantine.
I am going to use something like oh, I don't even know. The vest. Why not? Let's bring the vest in. Haven't used it in a while.
Yeah, I mean, we've used basically every mech. I'm just kind of like cleaning up some scraps on them.
These mech warriors are raring to go. It's time to see what they're made of.
Alright, so enemy lance is a Vulcan, a Shadowhawk. Didn't get to see what the others were. I did
Presumably something
upgrade
larger.
the speed on this mech. That's one of the upgrades. Are so my top speed I think is 91 or 92 kilometers. Yeah, not
that's
93.
nice.
Yeah, 93 kilometers is my top speed. So we got a Vulcan.
Target acquired.
We've got a Banshee 2P and a Vindicator. So it is mostly a medium lance.
I'm gonna go
Encountering
melee
medium
versus melee
lance
action.
now.
Impact missile.
So I've got a pretty nice, I got some pretty decent weapons on this thing. I've got like a,
Now we've got
I've got an
fight.
LBX AC-10.
Target indicated.
I've got 2 SRM-6s, so I got a lot of snapshot damage. And then, you know, for sustained damage, I got a nice, I got some small pulse lasers as well.
Wow.
They better ease up or their mech's gonna quit
The
on
heat
them.
is
No.
still a thing, but I am able to pick and choose my weapons as well.
Target.
It's over. Mason comes out on top. Nothing but respect after that performance.
And of course, maximum armor, just because this mech does draw a lot of gunfire.
Yeah, it does. I mean, they weren't even looking at me at all, and I mean, I walked up to that Banshee and nearly like one hit it in the back with the the LB10X, the SRMs, and the sword, and it was still looking at you, so that was a bit weird.
I mean, that
Very
one's
easy to forget
pretty.
how
I mean,
effective those missiles are.
yeah, those are all like really nice mechs. Like, I'm trying to think if there's. I don't know if there's anything else we really need to go over on these.
I might give the Nightstar one last chance with the Gauss rifles, maybe.
You want to
and then
redesign it real fast?
Yeah, then do you want to throw it in the bin and bring it back out? And then I'm happy to call it a day, I think, with customization of mechs unless anyone has any.
Yeah,
very
if there's
final
this,
things.
this is your chance. This is your last. I'll move the Night Star to the top. There you go. This is your chance, last chance for any final requests.
So I want to try Ghost Rifle this thing one last chance. One last chance.
I'm gonna add something to the notes, like what to think about. In the MVP category.
Mm.
I'm adding another category called Second Opinions.
Alright, 2 Ghost Rifles and a binary laser. Might have been enough. Right.
Okay, I'm gonna...
Tier 5 Ghost Rifles and a Tier 5 binary laser. If that's not enough to get this thing working, then I'm done.
Alright, I'm just gonna... First we'll find an appropriate mission, and once we found the appropriate mission, then I will speed up time, unless it's already refitted in time. A duel, not what we're looking for. Once again, if only they would just tell you what the missions are instead of having to visit each area. I mean, there's just these little quality of life things that I would really enjoy in MechWarrior 5. Okay, let's go to a different system. Like, we just need to see a different set of arenas. That'll also give the Night Star a chance to...
You're doing 42 damage. If you headshot within 825 meters of this thing, you're doing 42 damage. Is that enough to kill a mech in one
Okay,
shot?
we're gonna try, Chubby wants a redesign. We'll do the Zeus SA3. He wants 2 binary lasers. These are the best ones we've got. He wants 3 LRM-10s with the Artemis system. Let me see how many of those I have on standby. Ooh, I don't have 3. I gotta buy some.
I wonder, does any of your mechs have one you can take it off?
Well, let me just go ahead and, like... Let me see if I can pick one up. We just need one.
Oh, really?
The problem is we do use LRM-10s pretty frequently.
We do,
because
yeah.
of the Highlanders, for, like, the LRM-30 combined.
Yeah, that's a fair point. What is my dog doing?
What the dog do?
She's sleeping and twitching, but her claws are scraping
There we
against
go.
the
I just
wall, so
picked
she's
one
very
up.
creepy. Oh, very good.
So here we go. The Zeus SA3. We're gonna do
So this is kind
binary
of like-
lasers.
Opposite days, this.
Basically. We're gonna do Artemis. And then, let me just take off... Oh, I think that's everything. So let me redo... I'm gonna need probably 4 tons of Artemis ammo. And then let me knock off a few heat sinks. Oh, I need to knock... Wait, where did all this extra weight come from? Okay, I'm gonna have to redo this entire mech. Throw them in. I thought it would be a quick rebuild, but it won't be a quick rebuild. Okay, so what we're gonna do is put these on. We'll put these on. And then I will put on the ammo. We need about 4 tons of ammo. And then the rest is going to be heat sinks, because it's going to need the heat sinks, let me tell you. Oh, we can't actually get that many on. I will shave off a little bit of armor. I will shave a half ton of armor off. And that will do. So we have 1, 2, 3. I don't think that's going to work. So we're going to have to drop one of those, because like that's just not enough double heat sinks for 2 binary lasers.
Cubby says drop the ECM and probe.
Those got dropped when I threw it in the,
Oh,
so
did they?
that'll do. So we'll do 2 binary lasers and 2 Artemis because like, we just need more heat sinks. I don't even need to test that to know that 3 double
binary
heat sinks
lasers
is not enough for 2
do a
binary
lot.
lasers.
I put a bunch of ballistic upgrades on the Night Star as well. Just give it, throw everything out the wall. Let's see what happens. I mean, it may or may not work.
Let me go ahead and assign its weapon groups. Okay, here we go. So let's go find a mission now.
It's gonna be hard to beat that to be honest, but we'll see. You know, the original builds have just laid things out.
Yeah, I mean, also there's always the issue of like, can you keep enemies at a distance? Like, it could be better in the regular game compared to arena. I mean, we have had some arenas where we are able to engage at a distance, though.
Yep, we have.
So let's do this one as a test run. This is a heavy duel, and I don't care that I'm bringing a bigger mech in. So I'm gonna use the Zeus SA3, and then we'll just bring in some dudes. Let me bring in a... We'll bring you in. There we go. Okay.
You could have probably brought a Lunar King, could it have fit?
I think it's the
Probably
same
not,
weight
yeah.
as the,
Is it?
I think they're both
I remember
65.
65, 60. No, really? Okay, fair enough.
It doesn't matter either way.
Nah, it don't make a damn thing. Make a damn difference. They won't do much anyway.
These Mech Warriors
Alright, let's see how this
are about to
goes.
throw down. This is gonna be epic.
Oh, I thought it was a duel, but I was wrong. Well, let me just fire some of these over here. Maybe I can get them moving.
There's some
Oh,
helicopters
look
are
at that! They're
engaged as well,
attacking
so
our.
I
They're
love that.
attacking. So we broke the rules, and they're attacking our allies. That's amazing.
Cockpit is a mess.
What a shot that was! I just completely deleted that thing.
Target acquired.
Okay, I got a target finally. Oh my god! I can't believe this thing is blocking me.
His weapon is taken
Got that
out.
one.
His opponent will try and take advantage. Commander Mason sends another to the scrap heap.
Good.
Blink and you'll miss it. That component went flying.
Okay, we can finally see this thing's heat
That team will
management.
be reeling after this loss. None remain.
All right, we scrapped the first team. That's nice.
A Marauder came around the corner. I literally just like headshot it like instantly.
Oh, is that what? I didn't even know. I didn't even see it. Yeah, I guess you destroyed it so quickly that I didn't even notice.
Literally walked around the corner, and I didn't really even aim it. It was quite a lucky shot.
Okay, so we're entering into a brawl with 2 enemy lances, and then the last lance is roaching.
Obviously.
The battle is really thin, though, so we're probably just going to have to deal with these.
I wonder if I can get on top of a hill high enough to see them.
This actually looks really nice. It goes downwards, meaning like we should be able to snipe them.
Lance is Oscar Mike.
Precision strike. They won't be able to reattach that metal limb.
Oh, I shot my grasshopper.
Down another opponent. He's acquitting himself well out there.
Guess I'm going to go for this Crusader.
Their offensive weapons just took a hit. Oh my, just suffered a
Very hot
slight
still.
amputation. Wow, talk about a close call. They barely survived that detonation.
Oof, overheated.
Dispatches another opponent.
Like, even this amount of heat sinks is not enough for binary laser. Like, you need, like, a
Another
lot.
opponent falls.
Critical.
Another mech down. He's pushing the mech too hard. It's gonna max out.
Over.
Mason
Okay, I'm
casts
turning my
it down
override
to the
on.
side.
This seems like one of these battles where I want to have override
Lands an
on.
effective
I am just
strike.
headshotting everything right now.
Knocks another mech out of the fight.
This is just silly.
Whoa,
Okay,
nice
this is silly.
headshot.
Okay, we got him. So we're done with the brawl. All that's left is the, what do you call it, the roaching lance.
Where were they at?
They're all the way back in that final facility, all the way to the east.
Oh. I wonder if my ghost rifles wake them up.
I see them stirring, so maybe.
Target acquired.
Okay, yeah, they're on the right side to stay here.
Here we go.
Okay, I'm a fire support as well, so I'm going to stand with you.
There's something coming.
I have a range of 1,000 meters. That's actually pretty nice for this.
Target acquired.
Oh, headshot him.
There. That requested, Commander. Roger requested, Commander.
I think this is in range. No, that wasn't in range?
Target
Oh, we
acquired.
got a guy moving up on us. Okay.
Another mech destined for the salvage yard.
Critical.
This could be a turning point. Mech is about to
That must
quit.
be a... What is that thing shooting at us?
Critical.
Another opponent bites the dust.
Acquired.
Uh-oh. He better
Oh,
ease
it's
up
so
or his
hot.
mech will go dark.
It's so hot.
It's over. Mason has come out on top.
Okay.
He really showcased his skills out there.
I headshot a lot of mechs there. But that takes a lot of skill to do, which does not make it a good mech.
Well, I mean, I don't think
To be honest.
that's... I think that's an indicator that the Gauss rifle is a good weapon, not an
Yeah.
indicator that the Night Star is a good mech.
Agreed.
3.8
kill.
million C-bills, I'll take that. Oh, there's the Marauder you got.
Yeah, it should be perfect. Other than the... Should be quite a few headshot, I would think.
I will take those. Like, overall, I think with binary lasers, you got to go all in on them.
You do.
That's kind of my opinion about the binary laser. Okay, let me see. I think that's everything. Oh, let me sell
Yeah.
this grasshopper. Sell some of these mechs off. I don't know why I'm selling them. I was just trying to keep our funds up, but at the same time, like, you know, this is the end of the series right here, so. Let me see. I also noticed that the Night Star still took a lot of head damage. Like, its head
It
was
took a lot-
actually one of the leading sources of damage on the mech.
It took a lot of damage, as like and all like everywhere as well. Like it was very heavily focused on. What happened? Oh, did you have?
I
an
overheated.
or something? I was gonna say it's a really weird damage pattern.
Yeah. Like I turned my I overrode my the manual I overrode automatic shutdown and overrode
Funny that-
automatic shutdown in order to do it. Okay,
Curious that the
so
center torso didn't take any damage.
yeah, I mean it took the head damage there as well. I mean maybe the overheating is just kind of random, like it just kind of
Yeah,
just
must be.
picks various places like on the mech just at random. Okay, I
Yeah,
think what we're
probably.
gonna do is we're in the last 30 minutes, so I think
Yeah.
it is time to talk about our final review of all of the mechs. So
I
I'm
agree.
gonna host a poll real fast. We'll start a poll. So we're gonna talk about the light mechs real fast. So let's see what people think. So you guys get to vote on the Wolfhound versus the Raven. Which did you prefer out of them? The Wolfhound and the Raven. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to bring my list up. And so what we're going to do is first we're just going to identify all the models that we did. We're going to talk in greater detail when we get to the winners and losers. And but yeah, so first up, once again, I'm just going to like name off all of the models, and we'll go from there. So for the Raven, the first model we have is the 1X. This is like the original model, not the iconic model, and the main thing about it is that it's kind of hard to gauge the effectiveness of electronic weapons. We're going to have to do an entire electronic weapons playthrough. Like, just using the Raven alone was not enough to really give me a feel for him. So we will have to do an electronic weapons playthrough. So I don't know what to say about the 1X for the most part. Then we have the 2X and the 4X. These are the combat models that drop the electronic weapons, and I think they stink because that's the only thing that the Raven's good for, because they didn't bump the speed back up. It's not like the mech went up to a 97-kilometer running speed, and the weapons it gets are still weak for a mech that's slower. Slower mechs should have, like, kind of overwhelming firepower, and I don't know, I would just never use the 2X or the 4X. Then you got the 3L. This is like the perfect Raven with all of the upgrades, crazy amount of upgrades, the full, like, the Guardian ECM, Beagle, it's got everything. It was good. I liked it. It made infiltration missions much easier. And then you had the Hugin, the one hero mech for the Raven. The Hugin is super, super fast, and it's a great interceptor. Moving on to the Wolfhound. This was the other light mech that we had. And you had the Wolfhound 1. That's the original model, and it's just badass. Then you have the 1A. The 1A, the only difference is it has one less laser, so it's just worse. That said, it's still good. Like 1 PPCX and 3 lasers, that's still good, but it's just worse than the 1. Then you got the 1B, which is identical to the 1. There are lore reasons for it. Basically, there's a rear-firing laser that they removed, but, you know, for all intents and purposes in MechWarrior 5, it's the same. Then you have the Grinner. The Grinner is just better. It's the same thing, you know, PPCX, 4 lasers, but now you have electronic weapons on it. It's just good. I didn't have any problem. Basically, I didn't know what to think about the Raven, and it was a mixed bag. With the Wolfhound, I thought it was going to be good, and it was good. Moving on to medium, you have the 4G. This is the original model, the AC-20. I didn't like it. I think AC-20s kind of stink in MechWarrior 5. The 4H is the AC-5. I call it the forehead. The forehead is the AC-5, the AC-10 model with 5 medium lasers, or 4 medium lasers and the small laser. I liked that one, especially once I swapped out the AC-10 for an AC-5. I liked it. Then you had the 4HP. This was your basic melee model. This one I also thought was decent. Oh, you want to see them as well? Yeah, we can do that. Although I kind of just want to bang out them just because, like, I mainly want to talk about them on, oh, yeah, they're going to be in our hangar. That's where they are. So here is the 4 HP. They're all stripped down, so you can't see the gear on them. It is the melee model, though, so the melee model is, it's just an early melee model. It isn't very fast, though, so it has the same problem as the Hatchetman. It's just kind of slow. Like, it's hard to melee people when you're slow. Like, melee is... The faster you are, the better melee is. Then you have the 4J, which we do have the 4J around here. Where is the J at? Oh, maybe we didn't have the J. Oh, yeah, here's the J right here. The J model, once again, they're all field stripped, so you can't... There's no point in showing them, because they're all... Most of them are field stripped. It was the LRM model. I liked it. You know, I just think it's... I'm comparing everything to the 4G. The 4G stinks. So the 4J was good just because you can do LRMs or SRMs. Then you have the 4P. That's the laser boat. We do have the 4P here. That would be this one. Lasers are good, but it did have the problem of getting focus fired, especially when it was an AI mech. The AI just gets owned, and you just lose, like, all of your medium lasers almost every battle. So I didn't think it was a good AI mech, but it was good when you use it, and lasers are good. It's strong. It's a good mech. The 4SP is pretty similar to the 4J. You do lose one laser, but on the other hand, you do get, like, maybe a better distribution. Like, the Sheriff had a stronger opinion about the 4SP versus the 4J to me. So, like, what did you think about the 4SP?
Yeah, I just feel like when I was piloting the 4J, that the shoulder with the missiles gets attacked a little bit more. With the 4SP, I noticed a way better like distribution of damage. And I kind of like the insurance policy. If you lose one torso, you still have SRMs on the other. Having said that, if you're careful and you're not like, I mean, bear in mind we were fighting against like way against the odds. If you're playing it within a normal mission and you're not like being like crazy, it probably doesn't matter that much. But I probably, if it were me picking, I probably would pick the 4SP over the 4J. But it's like that's just like preference. I like the insurance policy of the torso coverage, you know.
Then you got the vest. This is the Solaris model, so you got to have Solaris Showdown to get it. And it's actually really nice. It's basically like a baby Highlander vest. Very similar. It's got an autocannon, lasers, missile launcher, and then it's got, most importantly, a supercharger and a melee weapon. It's really good. Like I said, I'm not going to spend too much time talking about each of them. We're just going to identify them, so we're just going to bang them out real fast. We'll talk about them in greater length when we get to winners and losers. Then you have the Gridiron. The Gridiron, I think it stinks because it's basically just a better 4G, and I think the 4G stinks. The addition of an SRM does help, but I think it's just I would much rather use the 4P or the vest over the Gridiron. Yeah. Like, I just wasn't impressed on it. Overall, I would say I had high expectations for the Hunchback, especially because it is a fan favorite, but honestly, having actually used the Hunchback, I would say that generally speaking, the Hunchback underperformed. It wasn't nearly as good as I imagined it was. Moving on to the Wolverine, we have the 6R, which is in our hangar over here. The 6R is the original model. There's not. It's basically just. It's an 81 kilometer medium mech. There's a whole lot of mechs very similar to it. It doesn't have a PPCX, so it's not as good as it could be for a mech that's pretty quick. It's mainly annoying to fight against because it just has so much armor. It wastes so much time. It's not a bad mech. It's a mech. That's the way I describe it. The 6M, I think we sold the 6M, unfortunately, but the 6M is basically trades the AC5 for PPCX, so it's just better because it's just PPCX and SRM is just better. The 6P, we do have the 6P. The 6P is a melee model. It was good.
Like it.
It's fast. Being melee and fast at the same time is good. And then it still has some weapon flexibility. You know, you got your SRM in there. I put the tag on just to be kind of like curious with it. It wasn't bad. It was pretty good. I liked the 6P. The 6K, this was the best of like probably the standard models. It's basically PPCX and more lasers. Like, it has an extra laser compared to this. It has 3 lasers and a PPCX and an SRM6. That's great. There's no complaints for a mech like that. So 6K was really nice. The 7H was that unique mech. It's the, you can see here, it's the one that has the razor. You can find it, you have to travel somewhere to go to it. Just go to the, right at the corner of Draconis Combine and Davion territory and look for Valentina. You see it's right at the very edge. You just go there and you'll just get yourself a free 7H. That said, the 7H I think was better until the PPCX came out. The fact that it doesn't have a PPCX, so it's just worse. It's just not as, it's like a better 6R. It's just not super great, though. And then you have the Quarantine. The Quarantine, it's like almost a clan mech. It's really, really good. It does have the weakness where all of its weapons are on one side of its body, so if its side torso gets destroyed, it's basically crippled. But it's still like a really fantastic mech. I put on a LBX AC-10 in order to kind of compensate for the fact that it doesn't have a PPCX, but it's just it's awesome mech. Like, I don't know if it would make it onto a top 10 list, but I think it has an argument to be on a top 10 list. Like, it's pretty good. Overall, I didn't have a lot of thought about the Wolverine, and I would say it probably overperformed because of PPCX. I went into it being like, I don't know what to think about the Wolverine, but the fact that PPCX is a thing means that it was suddenly pretty good because it's fast and you can have PPCX, so it's good. Into the heavyweights, we have the Thunderbolt. We have the 5S. The 5S, even though it's the standard model, wound up being one of the better ones, mainly because the other models are not as good. They're not dreadful, but they're just not as good. And the reason for that is because the other models, they just They just have fewer weapons. So the next one up is, so like the 5S is really nice. Just as quick thoughts, like what's nice about the 5S is that you can just do so much with it. You have lasers, you have ballistics, missiles, you have a PPCX. You can just, it's just very flexible. Good as an AI mech, good as your own mech. Lots of things you can do with it. The 5SD, it's just worse because it doesn't have the ballistics. So it's the same thing, but worse. It's still not bad though. You could still use it. It's just not as good. The 5SE. It's the same thing. It just doesn't have the ballistics. It has one missile launcher and four lasers. That's just not as good. The original model's better, but it's still, you know, you could make it work. Then you've got the 5SS. Same story. It doesn't have the ballistics. It's got a missile and 5 lasers, so it's like, once again, it's just not as good as the original. The original's better. And then you have the 9SE, which is an upgrade of the 5SE, and it's not much of an upgrade. It's a missile and 4 lasers, so it's basically just worse than the original model. So it's, as you can see, there's a pattern here that there's a lot of junky Thunderbolts. The original Thunderbolt was good, as well as the Tallman, the Thunderbolt T. Where is the Tallman at? Here it is, the Tallman. The Tallman's a laser boat. It's got 9 lasers. You do PPCX, 8 small pulse lasers, devastating. It's great, fantastic. No complaints about it. Overall, I didn't know what to think about the Thunderbolt. I would say that it impressed me. Yes, there's a lot of like models. You're like, why do you even exist? You're just like a worse model of it. But like, it didn't matter. The standard 5S and the Tallman more than carried the Thunderbolt. Pretty good mech overall. Let's go ahead and have the sheriff take this one away. I'll name the mechs off and find them, and then you can give us our thoughts, because we put the sheriff in charge of his favorite mech, the Warhammer. First up, we've got the original model, the 6R. What did you think of the 6R?
Yeah, I think like the main story with the Warhammer is if you try to play it like a Warhammer, you're going to struggle. But yeah, the standard Warhammer, very hard to do anything with due to the heat issues, but yeah, you can rework it into basically not a Warhammer, and it can start to work, I suppose.
Yeah. It's like, if you play it like the lore intends, then it's probably not going to be very good. Also, here's the result of the first poll. It's surprisingly, I actually thought the Wolfhound versus Raven, I thought that the Wolfhound was going to obliterate the Raven, but it wound up being deadlocked at 50-50. Very surprising. So now you guys get the vote on the next group out of, let me start another poll. So it's going to be the Wolverine versus the Hunchback. So you guys, once again, let's see what you guys think.
I actually picked the Raven for that one. So I did. Only because, like, there's other light mechs that can do a lot of damage, but there's no other light mechs that can do what a Raven can do.
That is true. The Raven does have very curious capabilities. There's no doubt about that. So the next mech on the list was, let me get my list back out again. We have the 6D. So the 6D is, where is my 6D? I think we sold the 6D. So no, there it is. So the 6D, it has 6 lasers, so it doesn't have the ballistics, it doesn't have the missiles. What did you think of it, Sheriff?
Yeah, a piece of rubbish. There's no point of it. Like, there's literally no point in it at all. If you get it before you get a 6R, you may as well use it, but as soon as you get a 6R, get rid of it, because it's pointless. I mean,
look at it. Where's its machine guns? Where's it's just like, I don't know why. It's like, it's a lore thing. That's the reason it's there. Then we have the 6K. Did we sell the 6K? Let me do it by name. There we go. Oh no, we do have the 6K. So what made the 6K different is it basically is just like the 6D, but it kept, so it lost the machine guns, but it kept the missile. But overall, it's like it just is missing 2 of the machine guns. What did you think of that one?
Same thing again. What's the point? It just even if you don't want to use the machine guns, having the ballistic slots there is just better because it gives you the chance to use them. Yeah, I don't see the point of it again. Another garbage mech that can be forgot about.
Then we had the 6L. The 6L, you would think is the same story. Not quite, though. The 6L has a ton of lasers, which makes it very strange. So it keeps the missile, it drops the 2 ballistics, but then it gains 2 more small energy hard points, meaning you actually get 8 energy hard points, including the original 2 larges, which is, it just means it is different. Well, I don't know what you thought about that, but yeah, you have the 6L.
I don't remember if this is the one that I ran as the fire hammer with all of the flamers. I don't think it is actually, but I definitely don't mind this one at all. But the 6D and the 6K are rubbish for losing the ballistics. Because this one actually gains something, yeah, I actually like that. And you could either go tons of like small lasers, medium lasers, or I think flamers personally. And then you also have your missile slot if you want to like, you know, LRM-10 on there to destroy some tanks. I actually quite like the 6L in comparison to the other two. I don't think it's as good as the 6R because I still like the ballistics. I like a little bit of like variation, but I certainly think it's a pretty solid configuration of hardpoints.
Yeah, like 2 PPCXs and 6 flamers could have been, you know, like that would have been an interesting one. You also could just do 8 flamers and SRM, I guess. There's all the, I mean, it's at least it does something different, you know. Then you have the 6RB, which we do have here. This was the extremely rare mech that we actually found 2 Night Stars before we found the 6RB. The 6RB has ferrofibrous armor, but is otherwise identical to the original 6R. It is a Star League model, and what that means is that you can just put a little bit more gear on the 6RB because the ferrofibrous armor saves you some space. I didn't. Did you have any thoughts about the 6RB?
I mean, yeah. Again, if you like the Warhammer and you like the 6R, well, then I mean, it kind of almost makes the 6R redundant. You may as well use the 6RB because it's just slightly better. So,
if you can get them, at least.
If you can get it, I mean, my God, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, we're on episode 37, and we only got it like last episode, so yeah, you're gonna struggle to find it. But yeah, I think it's okay.
Yeah, if you're a Warhammer fan, yeah, definitely. Then we've got the Black Widow. This was Natasha Kerensky's mech, the hero model. And what makes it different is it does have an extra light engine, but in addition to its hard points, it trades 2 of the laser hard points for 2 more ballistic hard points. Normally, your Warhammer would be 2 large energy, 2 medium energy, 2 small energy, 2 small ballistics, and a missile. You trade 2 of the small energy for, you trade 2 small energy hard points for 2 more ballistic hard points. You are the Warhammer guy. What did you think of the Black Widow?
So actually, I really liked it, and I'll tell you what, the XL engine, in my opinion, is what actually really makes this mech really good, because you actually gain like 7 more tons of space, or maybe a little bit more than that actually, and because one issue that all these Warhammers have is heat, and this mech does not have heat issues whatsoever. I have not, even when I had 2 binary lasers on it, I would imagine even if I had 2 ER PPCs on there, I wouldn't have heat issues, just because of the amount of double heat sinks you can throw on it. It actually ends up being limited by the space that you have to fit double heat sinks on. So actually, while I really hate the Warhammer, I thought the Black Widow was quite nice, and I did it in quite a number of variations of weaponry, and yeah, you can load so many different things onto this mech. I actually hate the Warhammer, but the Black Widow, I'm like, okay, I'm like, all right, you're talking my language now.
Well, so to wrap up just the initial thoughts on the Warhammer, I didn't really have any thoughts about it, generally speaking. I would say that it had a lot of redundant models, but I think one of the things that really helped out the Warhammer is the introduction of PPCX. I think if we didn't have PPCX, I think our view of the Warhammer would have been a lot more dim, to say the least. Did you have any closing thoughts before we move on to the Loader King?
Nope, that's it. Just one last time. Dara, quad AC2 or light rifle? Quad AC2 for me. Rapid fire specifically. And then just nothing. I didn't put any heat sinks on it at all, just all ammo, and that worked best for me, so that's where I'll leave the Warhammer.
All right, down in Chatville, the medium vote came in. Looks like the Wolverine obliterated the Hunchback. That actually surprises me. I thought people were going to vote for the Hunchback because the Hunchback is a fan favorite. To the point there's a meme around the Hunchback called the Hunchback Orthodoxy. So, like, I actually am a little bit surprised there as well. But let's go ahead and do the next one is going to be Loader King versus Warhammer versus Thunderbolt. So Loader King, Warhammer, and then we add one more voting option, Thunderbolt. All right, here is the poll. You guys, we get to hear from the chat now what you guys think. So moving into the Loader King was a bit of a pain in the ass to get all the models of because they were not very easy to find. For a while, we just couldn't find any of them, and I don't know what that was. But first, we have the 1XA. So the 1XA, I will describe its loadout real fast. It had 2 light rifles, an AC-10 rapid fire, 2 SRM-4s, and a small laser. Really bizarre weapons. The weapons are all over the place, but if you refit them, you can make some pretty interesting stuff. It also has an XL engine. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. Even though its weapons were wacky, you could just customize it, though. It had great, very good customization options. Then you have the X1B, which is right here. The X1B was 2 AC-5 rapid fire, 2 SRM-6s, a PPCX small laser. That's also just devastating. 2 AC-5 rapid fire. Like, you just need to tune its heat a little bit, and you'd have, like, a really, really fantastic mech. But, yeah, that one was also really good. It also had an XL engine and endo steel, so a very powerful model. Then you had the 2XA. The 2XA had 2 AC-5, two AC-2 rapid fires, a medium rifle burst fire, SRM-4, 3 medium lasers. Once again, very wacky weapons, but you could change them up. Just change them into something you like, and you'd have a very good mech, because there's nothing wrong with those hard points. You could do like an LBX AC-10, keep the SRMs, machine guns, and medium lasers or something. That'd be a perfectly competent mech. Like, it's... None of the Loader Kings were really bad. Like, all of them were decent. Then we have the X3A, which is right here. This is a laser boat. It originally had a PPCX, a binary laser, 3 medium lasers, and 2 small lasers. You could easily just do 2 PPCXs and then medium pulse lasers, small pulse lasers. That would just destroy things. That was actually one of the very painful ones to fight against. It was really good. Then we had the SA-5. The SA-5 originally had an AC-20 rapid fire, a binary laser, and 4 small lasers. This is the one we got first, and we switched it to a PPCX, I think an LB-10X, and then 4 small pulse lasers, and it just destroyed things. It had no problems at all. Like, a great mech, and it has endo steel to save space. It was really good. And then finally we had the Indomitable, which originally was equipped with 3 heavy rifle burst fires and 3 SRM-4s. So, very hot, but very curious. I refitted it into 3 AC-5 rapid fires, which turned out to be pretty strong, especially when we paired it up with the Black Widow. I think it's fantastic, though. I think 3 medium ballistics and 3 small missiles, I think those are fairly meta hard points. It has an extra light engine and endo steel. You could turn that into a lot of different things, as long as those things are guns and missiles. It was really good, though. I thought it was quite good. Moving in, let's go ahead and see what the chat has to say. So the chat voted. Looks like the Loader King came out in the lead. I'm not surprised there. I think the Loader King really impressed people with its performance. So the Loader King took the W there. Now into the final one, the community vote. This is going to be the Zeus versus the Highlander versus the Night Star. So let's do the Zeus, the Highlander, and add one more option for the Night Star. Oops, that's not how you spell the Night Star. There we go. If I misspell something, oh well, just use your imagination that it wasn't misspelled. So first up, I guess we'll talk about the Highlander first. So the Highlander, actually, let's do some concluding thoughts on the Loader King. I didn't know what to think about the Loader King because it was a totally new mech. It blew me away, though. It's a very, very effective mech. I do recommend picking one up if you find... It doesn't matter which one either. Just if you see one, just grab it in the middle of your campaign. But those are my closing thoughts about the Loader King. So for the Highlander, first we have the 733. This is not the original model, but it is the standard model. It's basically ye old Highlander, the AC-10 model. I didn't think it was super good, mainly because it just needs more hard points. It doesn't have enough weapons. It always feels like the opposition... When you're fighting at long range, it feels like other long range mechs outshoot you. When you're fighting at close range, it feels like other close range mechs outshoot you. It just always feels like it's on its back foot. And that's kind of like the theme of the Highlander, generally speaking. Moving into the 733C, this one trades out the AC-5 for an AC-20, and I didn't really feel like that made too much of a difference. It is technically a little bit better because you could put the AC-10 on it, or you could do an AC-20 or a Gauss rifle. But it just has the same issue. It just doesn't have enough weaponry. Like, it gets outshot. Then you have the 733P, which, where are you at? The P. So the P model swaps out the the AC-10 for a PPC, but I'll let the sheriff talk real fast. Like, you did a binary laser. I think you said that you thought it was like maybe not fantastic, but was okay with the binary laser. What did you think of that one?
Yeah, basically I built this as like a fire support mech with just LRMs. The PBCX basically it's interesting. It's kind of like the melee weapon on the PP. It's very hard to get anywhere to use the PBCX, but the binary laser, I found it did cut through, but you need a pretty high tiered one, and you don't need to worry about the heat because there's just so much space on the Highlander. It's still pretty mid, but it probably performed best with a binary laser, I would say.
So moving into the PP model, which I think where's the PP model at? We didn't sell our PP, did we? Did I sell my PP?
I think I'm not sure if we brought
No, here it is. Here's the PP right here. PP right here. Didn't sell my PP. Still got my PP, folks. So this model basically drops one laser for the sword. I actually think that's worth it because while you're not going to do a lot of sword fighting, you're not going to charge into the enemy. When the enemy comes to you, it does make a difference when you can just bash them with the big-ass greatsword. So, like, you kind of use it defensively. You use it to shoo people away that get too close. And I think that was worth the loss of the laser, to be honest. Moving into the 732, this is the original model. I thought the 732 stinks. You might be like, whoa, but isn't the Lost Tech, it's got ferrofibers armor. It doesn't matter. The ferrofibers armor helps you save space. Space is not the weakness of the Highlander. The Highlander has plenty of space. It needs more guns. And this model doesn't have more guns, really. So it isn't really any different, to me at least, than the 733. Then you have the 732B, which is... where is the B model at? I think we have this one in our hangar. Yeah, here it is. The 732B also has ferrofibers armor. Otherwise, it's identical to the 732. So if I thought the 732 was too similar to the 733, then I also think the 732B is too similar. They're all very, very mid. They're not like dreadful. They're not like awful, but they're very mid. Then we've got the vest. Now, the sheriff took a big liking to the vest, so I will allow I'm going to have the sheriff talk about the vest. Let me go ahead and get it repaired so it's not all beat up looking. Here is the vest.
The vest was funny because it's probably the mech that and the Red Shank are probably the two mechs I use the most in the entire playthrough. I mean, it is incredibly strong. When you can get that the supercharger, the arena supercharger on there, and you're running around at like 100 kilometers an hour in a 90-ton mech with a massive sword that does like 100 damage, you know you're in for a fun time. What I really like about it as well is the combination of like an LB-10X AC or even the heavy rifle burst fire worked quite nice, and the melee weapon. I just find a really nice balance. The one issue I have with the vest, and it's the same with all Highlanders, the arms are so easily destroyed. So quite often I find myself losing like an LB-10X or losing the sword, because I don't know, it just feels like the enemies target it like crazy. But like, I mean, it may genuinely be the best melee mech in the game. We haven't tried them all, but I think it's going to be exceedingly hard to beat. To be honest, it is really nice. Really
I had
nice
a lot of fun with it myself. Like, I thought it was a fantastic model. So, like I said, we're trying to bang these ones out, like just so we don't get bogged down. We'll talk in more detail in the winners and losers section. Highlander heavy metal. This mech stinks. You might think that's kind of strange because it's a hero mech. The problem is that it's a hero mech of the 733. So it's just a better 733. Literally. It's just a 733 with one more laser and an extra light engine. It needs more guns. Like I said, space is not the problem with the Highlander. The Highlander does not have a problem with space. It has a problem with firepower. So the heavy metal actually winds up being just a slightly better 733, which is not good enough. And then we have, where is the Red Shank at? There it is, the Red Shank. The Red Shank is the other hero model. It has an extra light engine, and it unlike the PP, it does not trade a laser for a sword. It actually has 3 lasers. It trades the SRM, which kind of stinks that you do lose the SRM for the sword. But I thought that the red shank, I think the sword is worth it. And mainly because, well, basically, compared to the PP, you get 2 more lasers, you lose the SRM, but you get to keep the sword. Like, I think the sword comes in clutch with the Highlander. Once again, you don't really charge into battle with it, but when the enemy gets close to you, just being able to clobber them really, really made a difference there. And that's what I thought about the red shank.
Yeah, and I think this mech works really nicely when you use it as a fire support with like a heavy rifle and the LRMs, and then you only use the sword whenever something comes to you. So, because like a heavy rifle and LRMs are pretty nice at range, then you got like really nice close quarter, but you definitely aren't chasing mechs down with that thing. Like, it's too slow.
Yeah, and that's what made the vest so good. The vest brings the fight to you. You don't have a choice. It's coming to you. Like, it goes over 100 kilometers, or it was like around 100 kilometers when it's sprinting. So it's like it's coming to you. Like, you don't have a choice in the matter there. As far as my final thoughts on the just general thoughts on the Highlander, I didn't know what to think about it, but it definitely, like, in most cases, disappointed me, but then also shocked me with the vest. So it's very interesting, and we'll talk a little bit more about it when we get to the winners and losers section. Moving on to the Zeus. So first up, we had the 6S. This mech kind of stinks. It's not, like, awful, but you do need the LBX-10. You need to combo it, the PPCX with the LBX, in order for it to really shine. So without Lost Tech, it just wasn't as good as the other Zeus models. The main problem with the Zeus is it just lacks firepower. So you really need to min-max the firepower, and the PPCX, that helps it a ton. If it didn't have if PPCX wasn't a thing, oh man, the 6S would really have some issues. Then you have the 6T. The 6T is massively better because it has 2 PPC slots. So double PPCX, SRM6, 2 lasers, bam. You've got a perfectly good mech. Nothing to complain about this 6T. And that's the thing you're going to find. The S's are not as good, and the T's are good. Because now we're to the 5T. The 5T is, or the 5S rather. The 5S is right... Where's the 5S? Oh, here's the 5S. So the 5S is the same thing. It's just the same thing, actually. There's no difference. It does come with some Lost Tech, so if you pick one up, it's also very rare. But otherwise, it doesn't have any upgrades. It does have a little bit of Lost Tech. So the 6S wasn't very good without Lost Tech. This one also isn't very good without Lost Tech. The 5T is similar, which is right here. Now, the 5T has a very bizarre advantage. It has ferrofibrous armor, so it does save space. So it actually is better because you can do double PPCX. As you can see, I did 2 PPCX, 2 small pulse lasers, SRM6. Great. Awesome. It's fast, it beats people up, and then you save some space with ferrofibrous armor. It's very rare, though. That is a disadvantage when you've got the 9S. The 9S is exactly the same. Ferrofibrous armor, 2 PPCXs, I did 2 medium pulse lasers this time, SRM6, but the 9S is really common when it comes out. It becomes basically the primary Zeus model when it comes out. So the 9S is actually pretty good. And then finally, you've got the 2 very bizarre ones. First, you have the Zeus SA3. I'll read its original gear off real fast. So it has an extra light engine, endo steel. It has electronic weapons, both of them, a medium rifle burst fire, 2 binary lasers, and 3 SRM6s. That's great. That's really, really strong. We switched it up into 2 PPCXs, 3 SRM6s. That just destroyed things. Like, that's just so much close-range firepower. It's just fast enough at 64 kilometers, and it's got the wacky electronic weapons. Just a great mech. Like, really, really good. Like, I don't know if it would make it onto a top 10 list, but because there are a lot of other good mechs, but it would definitely be on a top 20 list. And maybe it could sneak its way onto a top 10 list, but definitely a top 15, definitely top 20. Very, very good mech, though. Like, very devastating close-range firepower. The Skoko Mish is one of the best mechs in the game. There's no other way to describe it. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's a mech I haven't used yet that could bump it down, but it's very hard for me to visualize that. The Skoko Mish had a PPC, 2 LRM-10s, 2 SRM-6s, AC-5 medium laser, and a mask. I switched that up into a PPCX and SRM-24, a combined SRM-24 with the Artemis system and a Arena supercharger. It was going at like 150 miles per hour with the arena supercharger. You just get into point blank range and erase things. A PPCX, a SRM-24 with the Artemis system, it vaporize attack from behind. Sneak up attack from destroys things in one hit. It has an XL engine. It has endo steel. It's not just one of the best mechs. It's not a top 20 mech. It's not a top 10 mech. It's a top 5 mech, maybe even the top 3 mech. There's very little things. Now, maybe there's a mech I haven't used yet that competes with it, but this is what I'll say. From my current experience, it is a top 3 mech. There is room for it to be dethroned, but the Skokomish was that good. So my general thoughts on the Zeus was, I thought the Zeus was going to be okay. But I was a bit disappointed by it. I thought it was going to do better than it did. When I did abandon long-range combat and went into close combat, that improved it drastically. But what really, really saved it was the PPCX and, without a doubt, the Zeus SA3 and the Skokomish. Even without a PPCX, the Skokomish would have been good because you could have done just SRM-24 would have been good. Just alone is really good. With a mask would have been good. But the Zeus... very strange polarizing model where it's got a lot of mid models and then it's just like the Highlander, bizarrely overwhelmingly strong models and then a bunch of kind of junky models. And then finally, we've got the Nightstar. The Nightstar, I think it stinks. And why do I think it stinks? The defenders of the Nightstar will say, hey, it's a pretty good sniping mech. You know, you hear it on the Reddit. I don't care if it's a good sniping mech. There's other sniping mechs that are better than it. The Jaeger mech is better. The Rifleman is better. The King Crab is better. The Annihilator is better. And then there's ones that are like way better. Like any of the mechs that can do at least 3 heavy rifles are going to be better. Any of the mechs that can also, like the Sleipner can do 2 Gauss rifles, it's better. Anything that can do its job is better. And the reason for that is because its supporting weapons are junk. I don't care. The 2 lasers don't matter. The binary laser, it helps a little bit. You know, the PPC helps a little bit. It doesn't help enough, though. It's just not good enough. This mech gets headshot way too easily. That is a devastating weakness for it. You cannot use it as a close range mech. You can use the Sleipner as a close range mech. You can't use the Nightstar as a close range. I'll go more into it, though, in the winners and losers, though. But, like, just my initial thoughts about it. That's what I think about the Nightstar. And let's go ahead and take a look at what the poll is for this is your guys' vote on the assault mechs. The Zeus... overwhelmingly won. There is no doubt about it that is due to the SA3 and the Skokomish. Those SA3 and Skokomish, I think, won a lot of people over. If you were someone who loved the Zeus, but you were like, man, the Zeus kind of stinks, you got the SA3 and the Skokomish. Like, you're going to be eating well as a Zeus fan on those. Okay, so those were just the quick thoughts. We probably went a little more into detail than I wanted to on those, but we are going to go right now into the winners and losers. So these were the mechs that we thought really stood out versus the ones that did not. You can also consider this the honorable mentions. So when I get to the best mechs, the MVPs, if the mech you didn't like didn't make it on here, but it made it onto the winners, that means it was an honorable mention. But let me tell you, the competition was pretty stiff for the MVPs. So first off, and now we are going to go back and forth on this. So we've got the Raven, the 3L, and the Hugin. This is what I thought. The Raven 3L, it's a winner. It noticeably made infiltrations easier. And I think that's the most important thing about it. Like, its combat capability was also there. You can use support, or you can just use it as a recon. Either way. Like, what did you think about the 3L, Sheriff?
I liked it. It's so unique. Like, there's no other mech in the game that does what it does, and you know, light mechs already have such a big benefit in those recon missions, and then you add those 2 electronic hard points in there. I actually really like the Raven 3L, and the Hugin's really nice as well, for that matter of fact. But the 3L, yeah, it's very purpose built, but it really does do its job well. So I have to credit it for that.
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest benefits that the 3L gets is the bump in speed up to 97 kilometers, restoring it to the speed of a real scout mech. That was such a big deal for it. But, like, I would definitely say you should probably have a Raven 3L in your scout roster. Like, anytime you've just keep some of them around for infiltration. At the minimum, keep them around for infiltration. But if you want to do shenanigans with the LRMs and stuff, like, yeah, it could definitely give you great narc or tag support. Like, overall, I was very happy that the Raven met my expectations. That's what I think about that. Then we got the Hugin. So the Hugin was also a winner. Where is the Hugin at? So the Hugin is lightning fast, like 129 kilometers by default. I bumped it up with the upgrades up to 149, basically 150. SRMs and machine guns, that's perfectly good for a light mech. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I thought it was a lot of fun. What did you think, Sheriff?
Yeah, I agree. It's a really nice mech. And surprisingly has quite a lot of different things you can do with it. If you remember, we had light rifles on it and all sorts of different things. So, yeah, I really like it. It's a lot of customizability for it. So, yeah, I think it's a great mech, to be honest.
Yeah, I definitely recommend. If you see a Hugin, go ahead and pick it up. Next up, we've got the next group of winners were for the Wolfhounds, because we'll do it by the mech class. So we've got the Grinner, and then let me go ahead and bring out the other ones. We kept these ones in storage, mainly because they're very similar to the Grinner, and that's why they didn't get included. But yeah, so we've got the Grinner, the 1, and the 1B. So the 1 and the 1B are basically identical. In the lore, they're not. So the 1 has a rear-firing laser, and then the 1B took the rear-firing laser and moved it to the front. So they're the ones that have a main PPC weapon and then 4 lasers. The 1A got dropped from the list because it only has 3 lasers instead of 4. So, you know, it's still good. That PPCX and 3 lasers will still get the job done. But, you know, it just wasn't as good. It's missing a laser. Now, the Grinner was the same thing, but it also had an electronic weapon. And in order to accommodate that, it does have endo steel in order to make that all fit. But the way I can tell you, how do you know that the Wolfhound was good? I was using Wolfhounds in assault drop weight levels, and I was just backstabbing enemies, butt stabbing them, obliterating them. This mech was pulling its weight against heavy and assault mechs. A great ambush mech, a great, what do you call it, flanking mech. And this goes towards, like, you know, I'm not going to single out the 1, the 1B, or the Grinner. They're all very similar. They're all very, very good, with the Grinner just being, you know, just the advantage of the electronic weapons. What did you think of the Wolfhound, Sheriff?
Again, really not much to add to that. It's phenomenally good at what it does, is getting behind mechs with great pace and just blasting them up the butt. But to be quite frank with you, it's, yeah, I really I was impressed with how effective it was actually at quite high difficulty missions as well, particularly in some of the beachhead missions we done. It's just, yeah, it got about quite well. I liked it. I thought it did better than I was expecting as well.
So the next group of winners was, we're moving into the medium class now. We've got the Hunchbacks. So we've got the Vest, we've got the 4SP, we've got the 4P, and let me go ahead and pull out the J. We didn't put the J in just because it's very similar to the 4P. But, yeah, so the unlike the Wolfhounds, these mechs are rather different from each other, so I will talk about them one at a time. So first we had the P. The P is right over here. I mean, come on, it's got 9 lasers. It's got 8 medium lasers, a small laser. Of course, that's going to be really good. It's just devastating. It just works. However, it wasn't a good AI mech, and that's because I found that the AI enemies just focus fire it down way too much. They destroy its side torso. You lose, like, 7 medium lasers per game, and it was just like too expensive. Even though medium lasers are easy to replace, you can't lose 7 medium lasers a game. That's like that was too much. What did you think of the 4P?
Yeah, I like it. It's such a good recipe, having just so many lasers. But you're absolutely spot on. When you lose that makes nothing. So it's the one concern. If you can protect that thing, you're doing well. But yeah, I really like the 4P, to be honest. And I'm not surprised that it worked as well as it did. And it, as an argument, to be possibly the best Hunchback, actually. But, you know, prior to the vest, of course.
Speaking of the vest you can tell it actually has a unique model. The casing around its main gun is a bit different. The vest is basically a baby Highlander. It's very similar. Has an autocannon, a missile, a few lasers, the all-important supercharger combined with a melee weapon. It does take a lot of skill to use because the supercharger, the arena supercharger, really limits your turning. So it does take a lot of practice, but if you spend the time to become familiar with it, it's a very devastating mech. Sheriff might have some more thoughts on it, just because he did use the melee mechs a bit more than me.
Yeah, I would definitely not be using that supercharger for maneuvering, but just for purely cutting down the distance between mechs. And what's nice about this, and I also found it with the vest for whatever reason, if you don't attack anything with it, you can just get behind them. And with that combination of weaponry, especially if you're only fighting medium mechs, but even heavies with this thing, you're going to absolutely slay them. And even when some of those slightly more difficult missions we did towards the end, I was really impressed with the output that it gave. I really like it, and I really like the arena supercharger. I think it's the reason why these vest models are so good. To be honest, without it, even with a normal supercharger or mask, I don't think they'd be anywhere near as good. So, yeah. Definitely a standout, possibly the best medium melee mech, I would say so far.
On that subject, it was you who told me that, we were like, the PPCX is what's gaining all the attention. What about the Arena Supercharger? Honestly, although you cannot use the Arena Supercharger on too many mechs, when you equip it, that's a game changer. I think the Arena Supercharger is a comparable game changer to the PPCX. Just the closing distance is crazy, and certain mechs just come to life with that Arena Supercharger.
Yeah, spot on.
So then we have the 4J. It's missing its missile launcher, but the 4J and the 4SP, it turns out that some missiles and some medium lasers just work. In the great words of Todd Howard, it just works. It's not a very fancy mech, but it just works. Like I said, it just turns out that you could either do LRMs on it or you can do SRMs on it, and like I said, it just works. I don't know what to say about it. It just works.
Yeah, I agree. And you maybe are more of an LRM fan. I'm possibly more of an SRM fan, but these two mechs are very much capable of doing both. Pretty solid, and yeah, I really enjoyed the 4SP. I didn't use the 4J as much. The one downside to these two mechs is they're kind of hard to find. They're kind of a little bit hard to find, which is a little bit annoying, but that's only a small complaint. If you can get them, they're definitely worth having.
Yeah, I find it feast or famine. You either get a ton of them or you get none of them.
100%.
Yeah, it's nice that you can do either way, though. If you want, they're good as an AI mech for bombarding people with LRMs, or you can just do SRMs and pilot them yourself. It's a very flexible mech. That's one thing I'll say. Basically, the further away you get away from the 4G, the better they get. So next up, we have the Wolverines, and we picked two models that really stood out on the Wolverine. Maybe a third model, actually. So we have the Quarantine. We've got the 6K, which I'll put in, and I'll let the sheriff decide if the if the 6P should go in or not, because I didn't get to use the 6P that much. But first up, we've got the K. The K was, where's the K at? Here's the K. So the K is a PPCX, an SRM6, and basically three lasers. 81 kilometers, heavy armor. That's just a recipe for success. It's quick. It's got armor. You get up close, blast people with the PPCX and SRM, and then you got some lasers. What's not to like about that? It's not a very insane mech, obviously, because it is a common model. But it is a Kurita alternative. That's what the K stands for, Kurita. But the Kurita really had the right formula. Because the standard Wolverine is an AC5, a medium laser, and an SRM6. Give it two more medium lasers and swap out the AC5 and get a PPCX. It just works. What did you think about the 6K?
Yeah, I liked it. I think it's a really good all-rounder. It's fast and it does a lot of damage. There's really very little to say. Same with melee. Fast and PPCX is very, very, very strong. Yeah, I really liked it. And I just find these mechs now where you can load a PPCX on and run at 81 kilometers an hour. It's just one of those things that's gonna work. Doesn't matter what frame it's on, that will work. It's that simple, and it has a lot of armor too, which makes it very annoying for the enemies to fight as well as it is for you to fight too. But yeah, I definitely think that was a winner for sure.
So the next winner is I'm gonna let the chef decide this one because I actually didn't get to use this mech too much. This would be the Wolverine 6P. This is the melee model. It basically downgrades the AC5 into an AC2 medium laser, and then downgrades the SRM6 into a 4, and then it comes with a melee weapon, which we chose to use the claw on it. Do you think that the like I said, I'm gonna let you talk about this one because I didn't get to use the 6P that much.
In my opinion, if the 6K is a winner with the PVCX, then this has to be a winner because the melee weapon is just as effective, maybe even slightly more effective. You know, it does a little bit more damage output and no heat. So yeah, I definitely think this mech's a winner. In the context of the two medium mechs that we used, that's not to say that there isn't much better medium mechs out there with melee weapons, which we'll find out in the future. But yeah, I quite like this mech. Again, in the same way that PVCX plus speed is a recipe for success, melee plus speed is definitely a recipe for success. And having the AC2 and the SRM on there just to like either take down helicopters or tanks at range, and then the SRM just to punch a little bit, and even to be able to load a tag on is quite a nice, curious little thing. You know, if you're running with a team of fire support mechs, yeah, I really think I think it's a hero. A winner there. I don't see any reason why it shouldn't be. It did its job really, really well.
Yeah, I don't have any bad memories of it. I will say that for sure. Moving on though to the heavy mechs. First up, we have two Thunderbolt winners. We have the 5S and the Tallman. These were the winners we chose. Very easy too because a lot of the other Thunderbolt models were just worse than the originals. So first up, we've got the standard Thunderbolt. This is the 5S. What was nice about it is that it just has a lot of customization options. Let's just take a look at it real quick. I mean, look at these options here. You got 2 missiles, 3 lasers, large laser, and then 2 small ballistics. So you can kind of, in this one, this is a very curious model where we went AC2 rapid fire and PPCX, and then we actually forsook all of the other weapons. But you could go in a totally different direction. You could do SRMs if you want. You could do LRMs if you want. You really just, there's just so much you could do with this mech. What did you think, Sheriff?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think another thing that really draws me to the Thunderbolt, and particularly this model as well, is if you want to use it yourself, you can build something like this with the AC2s and the PPCX. Or if you don't want to use it, it's possibly one of the best heavy mechs to use on your AI. And a very hard question to answer sometimes is, what mech should I run with my AI? Well, there's an answer right there, the Thunderbolt 5S, definitely. You can load that with missiles and all sorts of things that makes it really nice. Missiles and PPC or whatever, the AI tends to be quite good with. So yeah, that's one thing I like about it, and that's a stand up that other chassis don't get. That they're quite effective with the AI. So yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, that's something I overlook sometimes is what about mechs that are good for your AI? You know, the Thunderbolt, it's common, it's easy to get, and it's got, you know, interesting hardpoint options for your AI. It is definitely quite nice. Then we've got the Tallman. The Tallman's really interesting because it doesn't have any upgrades. It does not have an XL engine. It doesn't have ferrofibrous armor. It doesn't have endo steel, and yet it's still really good because of its hard points. And let's just take a look at those hard points real fast. The Tallman is basically a super hunchback 4P. It's got 2, 4, 6, 8. We're using small lasers here, but these are medium slots. It has 8 medium energy hard points and then a large energy hard point. We went with the PPCX and 8 small pulse lasers. Like I said, it's basically just a super strong version of the Hunchback 4P. I mean, you used it more than me, but the times I did use it, it just blasted people. Like I said, you used it more, so what did you think of the Tallman?
Oh my god, it's insane. Like, vaporization is probably the word I would use for that at times. I mean, again, another mech that tends to get ignored for whatever reason. Maybe it's because I was, you know, in the times that we were using it, we had other assault mechs with us and they were drawing the attention away, but, like, I mean, 8 energy slots, you know, and then a PVCX, like, what else is there to say? I mean, even if you ran this with 4 medium lasers and a PVCX, I think it would be just as effective. Yeah, I really like this mech. It just punches through, and again, I like a mech that I maybe don't have great expectations of, and then you go and use it, and you're like, oh wow, that was really nice. The one thing I don't like about it though is the speed. I do think if that mech was like 81 kilometers an hour, maybe it had an upgraded engine or something, it would be really stupidly good. I just think that's the one thing that lets it down a little bit. But yeah, I really like it.
I would be vicious in that case, absolutely.
Oh my god.
So moving into the Warhammer, for the Warhammer winners, we had the 6RB and we had the where's the Black Widow at? There it is. Okay, so we had 2 winners from the Warhammer group. And let's talk about the 6RB first, since it's not the hero model. So here we have the 6RB. The 6RB, it was basically the same thing as the regular 6R, but it has ferrofibrous armor, so it is strictly better, with the disadvantage that it's very rare. So it isn't, I guess it's, statistically it's strictly better, though it could be very hard to find, because it's a no data, no particular location, Star League, very rare, basically just like Highlander 732, 732B, very hard to get. It was the last mech we got in the series before we completed the collection. But yeah, I guess if you use the Warhammer and you like the Warhammer, then it would be surprising if you didn't like the 6RB. What did you think, Sheriff?
Yeah, again, I think the 6RB, you may as well use it if you can find it. The 6R isn't really a whole lot worse, but if you, like I say, if you can find this, you may as well use it. If you can't find this, then use the 6R, because the rest of them are kind of pointless.
Yeah.
But yeah, listen, I obviously have a bit of a fractured relationship with the Warhammer. Let's not deny. I still don't think the Warhammer is by any means even in the top half of best heavy mechs. I think there's way better heavy mechs out there, but it's serviceable, the 6RB, and in the context of a Warhammer, the 6RB is a winner, and that's about as much as I can say for it. But again, just don't use it as the Warhammer is intended in MechWarrior 5. It may work very well in other games like BattleTech, I have no doubt, but in this it certainly does not.
Yeah, it's it's a winner, but will it make it into the MVP position? That is the big question. Moving on to the Black Widow. This is the hero model. Black Widow, it trades 2 of the lasers for 2 more machine guns. So it has, instead of 4 lasers and 2 machine guns, it has 2 lasers and 4 machine guns. This is one of the mechs we got very late into the game as well. It is rather interesting. Like, you can do some strange things with it just due to the fact that it has like kind of odd hard points. It does have some space-saving elements as well. It has an extra light engine. And overall, I think what I like about it is just that you can build it in some wacky ways. I do like mechs that you can build in strange ways. In fact, we built it in a strange, or you built it in a strange way. We've got the quad AC2 rapid fire, but I mean, I thought it was pretty fun. What did you think about the Black Widow?
Yeah, I thought it was slayed. Now, to be honest, it definitely needed a little bit of help from the IDM, but actually, it's the first time I've piloted a Warhammer and thought, do you know what? Actually, that's an okay mech. Like I could use that and be quite content with it. Again, I totally agree. I like mechs where you have like such a broad range of customizability. Same way with the Thunderbolt. I mean, you can literally do whatever the hell you want with this mech. But again, interestingly, just not using it as a Warhammer. This is not a Warhammer, other than the fact that it literally is a Warhammer.
It's like the weird hammer.
It's a weird hammer. But actually, if I had to say I liked a Warhammer, this is probably it. I mean, I built it in 3 different ways. I did dual binary lasers. I did 4 light rifles, which, Dara, don't get me wrong, I still liked it. I just thought this was slightly better, and I really like this. I thought this was nice. Just sitting at 1,000 meters where no one else can get near you, and you're just blasting them. There's something kind of funny about that. So yeah, I don't mind this one at all. I really don't mind it at all, which is quite a good compliment coming from me.
That's true. Absolutely true there. Like, considering that, like, as you said, you had a fractured relationship with the Warhammer.
Yes.
Moving on into the final of the heavy mechs, this would be the Loader King, which we have the... Which ones did I pick? I picked the X3A and the Indomitable. So first we'll talk about the X3A. Here's my real first thing. All of the Loader Kings were good. But I did try to narrow it down to the ones that I thought in particular. But then technically, every Loader King is a winner. They were all really good. But if I had to narrow it down, the X3A was really nice because it was the laser boat. It's very simple to make. Like, you know, some of the Loader Kings might be a little confusing to build, but you can't go wrong with this. It's PPCX, small pulse lasers. That thing is going to rip people apart. And it just does. It just destroys things. And it doesn't even, I mean, it doesn't have any upgrades. It doesn't have an extra light armor or extra light engine, ferrofibers, and it doesn't have any of that. But it doesn't matter. It just blows things up. It's very similar to the Tallman. It's like, one of the ways we both of us noticed that when you fight against it, it zaps the shit out of you in the arena.
Yeah.
What did you think of the X3A?
Yeah, do you know what it is? That binary laser it has, the AI, literally, as soon as it hits your component, it does not leave that component. No matter how fast you're running, it just perfect aim right on you, and they hurt. Like, do not underestimate binary lasers, and if you've got really good, like, tracing fire, I'm telling you in a bit, like, I called it here first, the binary laser is a good weapon. I've used it on a few different occasions outside this, stream, and honestly, I think it's better than it gets credit for. Having said that, you can customize the thing way better, and yeah, you're absolutely right. When we customize the thing, it slays. Like, it is nice.
So the other big winner was the Indomitable. This one was a pain to get. It took us a while to get, just because it is a random hero mech. You could get it very early, you could get it very late. But the Indomitable had very interesting hard points. It's like 3 medium ballistics, 3 small missiles. I went with 3 AC-5 rapid fires, which is a very, it's a strange setup, but let me tell you, it lights people up. It draws a lot of attention. Like, the enemy AI very quickly gets sick of you and wants to put you down. But, like, it worked out really well. Like, it was very. If you're a fan of, like, just guns, just shooting lots of guns, like if you're like a DACA fan, then it's going to be hard to go wrong with the Indomitable. It has an extra light engine and endo steel. And while we didn't get to use it very much, it was very entertaining to watch. I think chat would agree with that. What did you think about it for the time you used it?
I really like it. I think 3 AC-5 rapid fire is very nice. Like, it really puts things on the ground, and you can definitely see, like, you know, from the 4 AC-2 rapid fires on the Warhammer, you can see a real difference in output and damage going into the Indomitable. The only thing that lets it down is maybe the heat, to be honest.
It does get a bit hot.
Apart from that, honestly, I think it's pretty nasty. And if maybe you did some ballistic upgrades, maybe if you did some heat upgrades, might make it a little bit better. And I think you're looking at a very nice heavy mech.
Yeah, I mean, you also could rebalance it. You could do like maybe 2 AC-5 burst fire, 3 SRM4s, and then add some heat sinks on. Like, there's other ways. Like, there's other ways to design this mech, but I wanted to go with the weirdest design possible because.
Oh, I loved it.
You know, just because that's going to be my thing. I'm going to go for like the weird designs. Let's go ahead and move on to the Highlander, though. The Highlander, I had 3 that I chose. We have the Vest, the PP, and the Red Shank. Made it onto the list. So let's do the PP first, just because it's the non-hero model, which is, I don't know which one is, I think it's this one. Yeah, this one had double missiles. So the PP is, it's got a sword. Turns out the sword makes a difference. Mainly because you don't really get to go after enemies, but sometimes the enemies come to you. And when they come to you and you hit them for like a sword that does like 90 to 100 damage, it turns out that's pretty good. And there are a lot of aggressive mechs. It's not that uncommon that the enemies make it to you. Sometimes the enemy just drops on top of you, and what do you know? You got a big-ass sword to start beating the shit out of people in close combat. What did you think of the PP?
Yeah, I was surprised. I didn't expect it to really be that exciting because of the energy slot, but I found, I found it quite good. To be honest, I really didn't hate it at all. It was better than I expected.
And it's obviously worse than the Red Shank, but like this you could get multiple copies of, whereas the Red Shank, it would be hard to get multiple copies. You could get multiple Red Shanks, but it would take a few tries. Let's move right into the Red Shank. Let's actually do it in a different order, because the Red Shank is very similar to the PP. I would say the Red Shank, rather than the Red Shank being an upgrade of the 733, which I typically would have compared it to, I'm going to say it's an upgrade of the PP, because it's basically the PP, but it has more lasers, which turns out that's better. If you're like the same thing but with more weapons, then turns out you're just better. That's real. What did you think of it? Like, I don't have too many thoughts about the Red Shank.
Nah, I really liked it. So it's very different from the vest, despite looking like almost identical and have a very similar hard points. This mech played totally different. This is a long range mech. This is a fire support mech, no doubt about it. And then you use the sword when you need to. That's pretty much how I've described this, but very effective at what it does. LRM-20, you can't complain about that. A heavy rifle or an AC-5 or a LBX AC-10, any of those things are going to work really nicely on this mech. Yeah, I really liked it. But you have to be patient. If you're not a patient player, this is not for you.
Yes.
Sometimes I struggle with sitting back and hiding and playing long range, to be honest. But if you can do it, that's a really nice mech for it, to be honest.
Well, it's like you got this big ass sword, and you're like, damn, what do I bring this sword for? And it just makes you want to go to battle. But yeah, the key is to just wait for them to come. And sometimes they never come to you, and you never swing the sword even once.
Yep.
And that's fine, like it still does its job. So it's, but yeah, like moving on to the mighty vest. The vest. What a shocker! I'll let you talk about the vest. Like, you were the main vest user.
Yeah, I was. Do you know? It was a bit of a baptism of fire with this thing. I remember using it at the start and being like, oh my god, I don't know what to think of this thing. Like, I was running into battle with it and just getting, like, absolutely owned. And then it wasn't until, and we spoke about it already, the Arena Supercharger came to light. As soon as we found that Arena Supercharger and realized, hold on a minute, look at the speed upgrade this thing can do. And you put that on there, and then you're just, like, charging and hounding at people. Like, you're able to chase after, like, light mechs. Like, that's absolutely outrageous in a 90-ton mech, Yeah, wow, what a mech. It's just a thing of beauty. SRMs, LBX AC-10, or really anything. Ultra AC-5 would work really nice on that as well. And then this massive ass sword that just, like, cuts everything to pieces. There's quite a number of occasions where I was even just, like, one-shotting mechs to the head with that thing. Just absolutely devastating. And again, here's a mech where you don't need to be very patient with, because this mech wants you to run at things. It wants you to get involved. And a hell of a lot of armor to be doing it with as well. Yeah, I really don't have a bad word to say about this mech. Just absolutely outstanding, and a game changer, because we were really getting upset with the Highlander, to be honest with you. Really struggling to find a use for it. We were almost like resigned to the fact that it might just be garbage. But this thing here is like, yeah, just phenomenal. And we'll obviously need to test a hell of a lot more mechs, but definitely a forerunner for probably one of the best melee mechs, certainly melee assault mechs in the game, just because of that Arena Supercharger.
Yeah, I have some more thoughts about the vest, but I'm going to save them for a little bit later. But sure. Moving into the Zeus had 3 winners, and that would be the SA-3 and the Skokomish. So first I'll talk about the SA-3, which is right over here. The SA-3 was a really nice surprise, because we got it before the Skokomish is actually one of the last mechs we got in the series. The SA-3 really, really was like, oh my god, thank you, a Zeus that is actually pulling its weight. The SA-3 has so much of what you want. Double PPCX, 3 SRMs, 3 SRM-6s, and it comes with electronic weapons. It's like, and there's other ways you can build it too. Like, you don't have to build it my way. Like, there's other ways you can build it too. Like, it also has a medium ballistic slot, so you could go into ballistics. I didn't use the electronics, but you could use them if you want. And I mean, I did in the original model. This one is the binary laser model, but there's so much you can do with the SA-3, and it was just very, very much. I'll just say what it was, just a delight that we got it. I was very, very happy to see its performance. What did you think of the SA-3?
Yeah, I was kind of losing hope with the Zeus. I went into this playthrough with really, really low expectations of the Zeus, having used it before. Not that it was just bad, just that it was so like bland. But this thing is not bland at all. This thing lays you out. And it's so funny looking. I love the arm. The arm is just hilarious.
Fat ass
yeah,
arm.
it's got like 10 points for aesthetics and 10 points for effect. That mech was nice.
Yeah,
doubt
yeah.
about it, it is
It's
nice.
like let's get a closer look at that big ass, fat ass arm it has, like right there. Normally the Zeus wouldn't have that extra armor shielding on it, but like yeah, like the SA3, like definitely, if there was a winner, it was the SA3, and that brings us to the Skoko Mish, one of the last
Damn.
mechs we got. This mech, I'm not gonna, I'll talk a little bit more about it later on, but let me tell you, just as a preview, the Skoko Mish was out of control. It's one of the mechs where I'm like, this mech is out of control. In fact, I don't even want to talk that much about it because we'll talk about it a little bit more later on. But let me tell you, this mech was a winner if this mech was defining what winners were. That's what I'll say about it, just real fast. Any quick thoughts you got on it, Sheriff?
No, I'm happy to wait until the
Yeah,
great
okay.
unveiling.
So then we'll move on to the Night Star. The Night Star didn't get a place, even though it's
Yes,
the other
yes.
mech. Yeah, I did not include the Night Star in the list. So it's time to go into the Junk Awards. So the Junk Awards are the mechs that were super, super stinky. They were not good. And I'm gonna hide the screen so you can't see them. Here we go. I'm gonna turn this on. I'm gonna surreptitiously add them in. And let's see. I'll add them in. We'll go by weight class. We're gonna go by weight class. Yes, being sneaky here. So here we go. Let me put you in. Let me put you in. And I'm going to turn my screen away. All right, so here we go. The first of the Junk Awards. The worst. These are these mechs. So what gives you a Junk Award? You can't just be mid. Being mid is not bad enough. You can't even be below mid. You can't even be bad. You just need to be like, why would I ever you need to either be like just the trash of the, you need to be, you know, what was the guy in Fallout 3, like the Duke of Detritus, the Sultan of Slop, the King of Crap. You basically need to be utter garbage or totally outclassed. Even if you're not awful, you need to be so outclassed there's just no reason to use you. And here comes the Raven 2X and the Raven 4X. Now, originally, I wasn't sure if I was going to include these, but I was actually persuaded by the sheriff. He made an argument from sewage, an argument from the landfill that these should be included, and I was persuaded. So, Sheriff, take it away. Like, make your case for why these mechs belong in the Junk Awards category.
It's just, what's the point? Like, literally, what is the point in them? They're not the fastest light mechs. They're not the strongest light mechs. They don't even have the most armor. They don't have those weapons. What's the point? The whole point of the Raven is, with the Hugin aside, to be able to, do something that's way different to every other mech. You know, because if you take even the strongest Raven, the Firestarter's better, the Wolfhound's better. What's the point? The whole point of it is get the ECM on there and the BAP. I see no point in this. It's a piece of trash and it deserves to go in the bin. It's as simple as that. The Hugin is obviously the kind of defies that argument, but it has enough weapons that you don't need to worry about that point. This mech is so pointless. They may as well not exist, because if I would put it this way, if I had some of the Thunderbolts or the Warhammers that weren't very good, I would probably still use them as AI mechs or something. If I ever got these, they are going straight in the bin or I'm selling them. What is the point?
I think there's no other way to say it, and I actually don't have much to add. It's like, when you get these, they don't fit into anything. They don't fit into any strategic lance. The only time I think it would ever be... The only time you would use this is if you were in the very specific situation where you needed to save 15 to 20 tons. Because what is the Raven 2X and 4X? It's basically a shitty medium mech. That's basically what it is, because it's slow, but it doesn't have a lot of weapons. And if you wanted to save like 15 to 20 tons, and you just happen to have them, and you're after the year 30-something, and for some reason you needed to save space in the Lance. That's such a specific situation that you just never use it. That's exactly the issue there. But yeah, I think like I said, like I didn't think of it. Like they were so forgettable that I didn't even think to include them. But like the sheriff reminded me my responsibility of braining these mechs, and he was absolutely right. Those ones sucked. So let me bring out the next ones for the Junk Awards. Let me see. We're going to go up by weight class, aren't we? So the next one mech on the Junk Awards is going to be... Let me dig it out. Where are you? There you are.
Oh, yeah. Yucky.
All right. Let me reveal it. So you guys, I can't. You have to like. I'm gonna leave you guys in anticipation. So here it is. The Hunchback 4G. Now this is gonna make some people mad because, as I said, there is a meme around the Hunchback. They call themselves like the Hunchback Orthodoxy. Well, let me tell you, the Hunchback Orthodoxy is basically like believing in an extremely primitive, obsolete, obviously dumb religion. You know, it's like basically unironically believing that you're a Jedi or something really lame, like something that everybody rolls their eyes at you. Maybe the Hunchback 4G is great in the tabletop. Maybe it's great in Battletech, but in MechWarrior 5, it stinks. And the reason it stinks is, unfortunately, the AC-20 just isn't amazing. It's like... The argument you'll hear is you just need to get good and learn to shoot people in the head with the AC-20. Well, let me tell you, none of the other models of the Hunchback require you to get good. They're just good out of the box. The 4P is good out of the box. The 4H is good out of the box. The 4J, the 4A, SP, all of the other ones are good out of the box. You don't need to get good with any of those, and they're just good. You don't need to score headshots. They're just good. And you know what? In order to, if the only way to make a weapon good is to get really good at the game and just score headshots, that means the weapon just sucks. And the overwhelming skill level of the player is doing the talking, not the capabilities of the weapon itself. Also, I'm not going to lie, I think a lot of these people who are just getting headshot after headshot with AC-20s are probably using an absolute fuck ton of aim assist. I've seen people in the Reddit who they have like a Marauder with 2 PPCs, and they've got like 57 mech kills in a war zone, and they're all headshots. I mean, unless you're just like a godly aim, the godly accuracy, there is no way. I just don't believe that somebody got 57 kills with a normal Marauder. Many of them are perfect kills. No damage anywhere else, just head damage. I just don't believe that that person legitimately did that. Like, that's suspicious. That's sus as fuck. That person is a sussy baka, you know, and I'm going to feed him a grimace shake. That's what I think about that. But the 4G... we tried so many ways. Like there you go. You want to talk about that part, Sheriff? Like, we tried so many ways to make this one good.
Well, like, do you know what all you have to say is to make the 4G good, you have to get rid of the AC-20 and put an AC-5 on, right? Well, guess what we did to the forehead? We put an AC-5 on it, and you also have more lasers, so it's just immediately worse. And even if you're like, okay, right, let's argue that the AC-20 is actually a good weapon. Well, when you fired your AC-20 and you're waiting like for a year for it to cool down, all you've got is like is it 2 medium lasers and a small laser left to protect you? It's just not enough. It's a horrible mech, and it deserves to die. And actually, I think I don't want to look at it anymore. It's upset me so much.
Well, it's like,
I don't want to look at you anymore.
One thing that sucks is like that stinks about the AC-20 is the fact that when a tank comes around, you don't want to shoot the tank. You don't want to shoot a tank with the AC-20. But if it's a Scorpion, it's going to take more than 2 shots with the medium laser. And you're just like, oh my god, it takes too long to kill with medium lasers. It's overkill with the AC. It's just, don't use it. It's not good. It's unfortunate because I do like the AC-20 as far as the aesthetics go. It's a very cool weapon, but unfortunately, you just don't get the performance you want out of it in MechWarrior 5. And like I said, that doesn't mean that the 4G might be fantastic in tabletop. It might be fantastic in the BattleTech PC game. In MechWarrior 5, though, it isn't great. And we tried so many ways to make it better. Rapid fire, burst fire, higher tier, low tier. It didn't matter. Anything we did, it just could not solve the problem of it just being bad. So let's go to the next one. Here comes the next mech. This one might surprise people. Oh my gosh. Let me see. I'm bringing it out. Here we go. Let me reveal it. This one might surprise people. It might even break some hearts, but here we go. Oh my god, it's a hero mech. For the Junk Award, the Highlander Heavy Metal. Now, why did I put the Highlander Heavy Metal on? It's actually very simple. It's a hero mech, and it's basically the same as the 733, and the 733 was very underwhelming. It was very underperforming. So this mech had the chance. It was the first mech to have a chance because it predates the Red Shank. The Red Shank didn't come out until Melee came out. So this was the first. This game had years of just having the heavy metal. So the heavy metal had the burden of making the Highlander better, and it utterly fails in it. It's just a 733 with more space. And as I explained, the Highlander has plenty of space. It doesn't need more space. It needs more firepower, and the heavy metal cannot deliver that to you. So despite it being this glorious hero mech, it's just a 733 with, like, a better paint scheme. And that is a humongous letdown for a mech chassis that really, really needed help. And it was really the vest that helped the Highlander, not the heavy metal. What do you think, Doctor?
What an absolute heap of crap. Look at it. Just look at it. It's just horrible. Do you know the only thing I kind of liked about it was in the fact that you may as well just put jump jets on it because it's so much space.
Yeah.
And do you remember in the missions there was a few of them I just like jumped on top of buildings for the fun of it. Like that's the only thing I enjoyed. Like parkouring across buildings because the rest of it's rubbish. I totally agree.
Well, that was the issue. Like, what do you do with the extra space? You don't need
Nothing.
ammo. You don't need heat sinking. I don't know. Put on the jump jets or something. Like, a complete waste. Like, it saves all that space for nothing. Like, just a total waste.
Imagine it had another ballistic slot in that left arm.
Oh, that would be...
That is amazing. That is phenomenal. That's
It would be great.
That's all it needed. What a heap of dirt. Get out of my face. Be gone.
Yeah, it would have been great. Okay, here we go. The next of the Junk Awards. People. I think people have an idea of this one. People might know what this one is. I think they've got an idea. We'll see. We'll see. Let me reveal the stream. So next on the Junk Awards, the Night Star. This one might be contentious because I know a lot of people, they like the Night Star. Like I hear a lot of people give the glowing reviews to the Night Star, but having actually used it, I can say this thing sucks. And it sucks because you can't use it up close, so you just don't have that option because it'll get headshot. This mech, for some reason, gets headshot very easily. You are always at risk of dying to headshots if you are even in medium range combat. You need to stay far back, so it has to be a sniper. And the problem is, you know, some people make the argument that it can snipe. Well, you know what? So can a lot of other mechs. So can a lot of other mechs that don't get headshot easily, that can do it better. Like the King Crab can do 2 Gauss rifles, but it also has a missile launcher and a large ballistic hardpoint. That's just better. You know who else can do it? The Sleipnir can do it. Earlier in the game, you can do a rifleman with 2 heavy rifles. You can do a Jaeger mech with 2 heavy rifles. There is the Indomitable. You could do 2 to 3 heavy rifles on the Indomitable. You could do 2 to 3 heavy rifles on the Cataphract Vest. Or the whatever, the one with the 3 AC5s. You could do it with... There's so many mechs that can do the same kind of sniping action as the Night Star that is easier to find. The Night Star is very rare. It doesn't show up until 3049. Very rare. You can get other mechs to do the same thing that don't get headshot earlier in the game, and some of them are just flat out better. The Annihilator is just better. The King Crab car is just better. Any mech that can do at least 3 heavy rifles is just better. So why does this mech get a junk award? It is so rare, so exclusive. It's such an eye-turning mech. And then it's just a massive letdown.
Really ugly too. I don't like the look of it. I don't like the stupid arms. They really annoy me.
I don't like the hands.
Like,
the human hands, I think, are really weird.
I just hate everything. It's like, why are the arms so scrawny? I just don't like this mech. It's ugly. It's stupid. It's really expensive as well. And you're absolutely spot on. The problem is, like, you know, if you want to like have basically a mech where you can park a locust inside the cockpit of, fair enough. I get that. Maybe you want to put a locust in through that window. It's just so easy to headshot. I just don't like it. I mean, the thing is, if you're a really good player or playing with loads of aim assist, with 2 tier 5 Gauss rifles and a whole bunch of ballistic damage upgrades, yeah, fair enough. I mean, I did it. I got like 4 or 5 headshots with it. It works. But it's just that's the player, not the mech. And you could just load 4 heavy rifles onto a King Crab car, and that is just infinitely better, because any component that you shoot with that will basically get destroyed or very nearly destroyed. If you do not get headshots with the Gauss rifles, it just feels like the rounds are bouncing off the mech. I think it's a real letdown. I was a little bit more excited about this, and in the context of sniping mechs, I think it's really poor. And I genuinely would rather use a Jaeger mech with 2 heavy rifles than use this.
Well, there's
I
also
don't
the
get
issue of, like take the King Crab. You might say, oh, but the King Crab car is a hero mech, the King Crab car. But the thing is, the King Crab car is way easier to get than a Night Star, too. You don't have to wait until 3049 to get a King Crab car, and you guaranteedly get it from a quest that you don't have to wonder when you'll get it. This, who knows when you'll get it. And when you do get it, like I said, it's just worse. Chubby Demon says that he thinks that we're being a bit harsh because the King Crab has all the Night Star's weaknesses. The way I know that's not true is because I don't snipe with the King Crab. The standard King Crab, the longest ranged weapons I've used on it is AC-10 Solid Slug. But that is the longest range weapon I have used with the King Crab. Otherwise, I always use AC-20s on it. And then on top of that, it has better support weapons. It has a large energy hardpoint, and it has a large missile hardpoint, which is just way better than what the Night Star has. But the main thing is it's just factually incorrect that the King Crab has the same weaknesses of the Night Star. The Night Star, 100% of the time, was at risk of dying to a headshot in close combat. Sometimes the King Crab would have headshot problems. Not every single time, though. In fact, I would say less than half of the time, the King Crab had, like, or I'm like, oh shoot, I'm taking a bit of head damage here. Every single battle, the Night Star, its head is imperiled in every single battle. Even in the battles where it's fighting at a distance, its head armor was in the highest grouping. Like, it was either orange, dark orange, or red, even when it was fighting at a standoff. So even when you're trying to play to the Night Star's strength, it is at risk of being killed with a headshot. Whereas, yes, the King Crab gets headshot more than average, still nowhere near on the... In fact, I will say right now, the Night Star gets headshot more than any other mech in the game right now. Like, hands down. Like, I would, like, not even a contest. So, like, I don't think I'm being too harsh on the Night Star. Like, I think it is... I think it's just the fact that every other sniping mech does a better job than it, due to the fact that it has either better hard points, more common, or just more powerful, and also is not prone to headshots. And like I said, this mech is absurdly prone to headshots, far more than the King Crab. And the Annihilator, because the Annihilator can also sometimes get headshot. That said, when I am headshot an Annihilator, I am still a little surprised about it. I am afraid of being headshot every single deployment in the Night Star. So I will probably never use the Night Star ever again, because it just sucks. It's garbage.
Yeah, I agree. I have nothing else to add to that. It is really disappointingly bad. It's so expensive, and the other argument, you know, with the King Crab car, where you're saying that, you know, you get it guaranteed. Well, it costs nothing as well. You just need to repair it, which is like 7 million C-bills or something. Was this not like 26 million C-bills or something absolutely ludicrous like that? It's so expensive. It's really annoying. I really wanted it to be good, but it's not. So. Bye-bye.
Okay, so it's time for the MVPs. These are the cream of the crop. The mechs that made the biggest impact. Basically, if you see it, get it. Like, they're that good. They are that fantastic. And we're going to go from lowest to highest, I think. I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to go with the least of the MVPs to the best of the MVPs. And you know, that's even debatable. Like, even that could be debated upon. But let's go with the first two that I selected. And introducing the Grinner and the Quarantine. What can be said about these? The Grinner was being used in high-tier missions. I actually... Okay, how do you know that the Grinner was, like, beating people's ass? I would just prefer... Okay, at first we were struggling with the Assault Mechs. The Zeus was not doing it. The Highlander was not doing it. I was like, I'm just going to go in the Grinner. Because the Grinner is better than Assault Mechs. Like, there are so many arena missions. I'm just going to the Grinner. You know, like, Sheriff went in a mech of his choice. I went in the Grinner. And it basically meant that we had any mech we could use because it reduced the tonnage. The Grinner, just you walk up behind people, blast them in the back, and then run away. If they start targeting you, you just run away. You jam them up with the crazy sensor stuff on it. I mean, it was just fantastic. It just worked. Like, it punched so high above its weight. And I would definitely say, I will say, the PPCX, without PPCX, I don't know if it would have made it to MVP. It still would have been really good, but without a doubt, the PPCX catapulted this extremely deadly mech into the MVP status. What do you think, Sheriff?
Yeah, the thing is, like, whenever you're playing, like me, so I probably was using the Vest or something like that, or the RS, whenever you were running around in that, the reason I can tell this is a good mech is because it took the pressure off a lot, and it allowed me, like, if I thought, oh, I'm getting a little bit heated here, you could run in, just draw them away, and that is absolutely, like, incredibly important whenever a mech can do that. So yeah, I really like that aspect of piloting alongside it. I actually don't think it would have been very good without the PPCX, to be honest, because I can't think of anything in that slot that would actually be worthwhile having in. Maybe a large pulse laser. I genuinely think the PPCX makes this mech. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Maybe a 5 laser slot would be okay, but I actually think the PPCX is the reason why this mech is so bloody good.
Yeah, I can agree to that. I mean, I'd probably use a large pulse laser as well. And I mean, I think it still would have been a competent mech, but it would not have been at the same level without a PPCX. Like, I think that's... it also shows you just the might of PPCX.
Agreed.
And this is basically the might of PPCX combined with one of the ideal kinds of mechs to carry. A super fast butt-stabbing mech, like, just absolutely fantastic. Then over here, we have the Quarantine. Quarantine's an old favorite. None of the updates on the DLCs have really affected it. It's as good. The Wolverine is as the Wolverine Quarantine. The Quarantine is as the Quarantine was. Nothing has changed about it, and that's impressive that it still is able to get this kind of a space because it just does so much damage. 3 lasers, SRM-12, and then a ballistic of your choosing, in my case, LB-10X. It's like... in fact, I'll let you talk about it, Sheriff. You were talking about how if you've got the SRMs, like you don't need the PPCX if you've got the SRMs, and certainly with the LBX, I think you could see it right there. What did you think?
Yeah, I think the LBX, like the LBX and the PPC, is pretty much interchangeable in my opinion. It runs real good. And I do think the SRM-12 probably is probably the line where you say SRM is as good as PPCX. In my opinion, SRM-12 does a lot of damage. It does a lot of heat too, to be honest. But again, another mech where when we were running in some of those big nasty beachheads, and we're like, what are we gonna bring? Because the Zeus is like a little bit lacking, the Highlander's a little bit lacking. We do need to bring heavy stuff. This is one of the guys that just pulled us out of the quagmire. I was very impressed with it. And you mentioned earlier on, the only downside of it is it's a little bit one-sided, but yeah, I really like it.
These are the mechs that allowed me to play my role, because while I can pilot any mech, I am absolutely an assault specialist. I don't mean in terms of assault weight class, I mean as I am an attacker. Like, I'm an aggressive attacker, a hit-and-run, guerrilla tactics, I'm an assault specialist, and this mech really allows me to bring that out. So, like, Quarantine, The updates have not outdated it. Absolutely not. So here we go. The next MVPs coming up. I think I'll do all of the rest of them here, because like these mechs kind of like got talked about kind of together.
Okay.
Let me see. You, and then you and you. Okay. I got to face a different direction now. All right. Here it is. This is the last of the MVPs. Now, these were the MVPs of the MVPs. Like, in fact, the original MVP list was 10 mechs long, but I actually trimmed it down because these mechs put the bar so high that I felt that while other mechs were good, they needed to stay in the winner category of honorable mentions, and I kicked them out of the MVP club. So, first, let's talk about them. So, we've got the Zeus SA3, the Zeus Skoko Mish, and the Highlander vest. The first one I want to talk about, honestly, is the Highlander. Let me just start out. Like I'm gonna pass it off to Sheriff because he was the main user here. But let me start the theme off. Highlander vest, the savior of the Highlanders. The Highlanders' legacy. Like we'll still be drinking scotch in 3050 because of the Highlander vest.
Wow. That's a pathetic thought, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, my initial thoughts were, you put it exactly like we were really getting black-pilled. That's no other way to say it. Getting black-pilled, discouraged, feeling negative. Like after the streams, you didn't get to hear this, but after the streams, like I would call up the sheriff, like, look, I'm not liking I'm not liking the Highlander or the Zeus. Like they're not doing it. And then this came along. And what did you think of the vest?
Well, at first I really wasn't that content with it. I seen the potential, because anything with a sword, I'm very happy with. Like this is like, while assault, you know, being an assault specialist is your kind of like place to be. This is my place to be, with a big fat ass melee weapon. And I was really worried because it kind of felt like the last chance saloon for the Highlander, because I was really like excited to use the Highlander. I really was like, you know, oh, I think this could be it. Like in the last playthrough we used the Banshee, and the Banshee, like the 3S, wow, how, like, I mean, it put things in the dirt like nothing else. And then I was like using the Highlander, I was like, oh, this isn't doing it. Why is it not doing it? Until we got the vest, and I was like, wow, now we can put losers in the dirt. And we finally went from surviving in some of these missions to like absolutely thriving. And once we got that arena supercharger on there, we pulled it out and we thought, well, do you know what? There might be 8 or 9 variants of the Highlander, but this one here, this is the Highlander. Like, this is it right here. You need nothing else than the vest, and they're not even that hard to find either, to be honest with you. Just how can an assault melee mech, 90 tons, run that fast? It's just crazy.
Yeah, if you had not taken a dump before getting into your mech, you'd probably be taking a dump in the cockpit when something so big is just like just bursting out of the trees, like ripping the trees out, just exploding out of nowhere. And then, you know, it's like, it's poetic. Like, you know, the Highlanders, you know, the Scots were known for like the claymore, like a giant ass sword. So you got this asshole coming out, just exploding out of the debris or the rocks or the, you know, your hoodoos or your forest, and just cleaving people, and like sometimes just like one-shot people with a headshot with it, just like cleaving things in half, destroying people instantly. There were some battles where you killed so many enemies, I was like, internally in my head, I'm like, man, I better, like, you know, turn up the heat a bit before they think I just brought the sheriff here to do all the work. And
I know. There
was
a lot of missions like that.
It saved the Highlander. I don't think that's an exaggeration. Let's quickly show them the hard points on it.
Genuinely the only Highlander I would use from now on. And that's how good it is.
Yeah, I mean, LB-10X you put on it, 2 medium pulse lasers, SRM-12 with Artemis system. The Arena Supercharger is really the secret sauce. Just being able to get up close, because you get to use all of your weapons up close. That Supercharger, it takes you up to a crazy speed. and then like you just clobber people with that arena, the assault greatsword, and then you can just like finish, because the sword does take a moment to swing multiple times, and then in between that you just blast them with all of these additional guns, and it's just like, wow. You had like I said, exactly that. The Highlander saved the vest saved the Highlander. If you're a Highlander fan, you pretty much have to get the Solaris, the Solaris DLC, because it's like.
The last thing I'll say on it as well is there was some of those missions we were playing against the Wolf Dragoons, and we have never, ever, ever, ever comfortably left a mission with all our mechs. And the only times we ever did it was with this thing here. Like this here was getting under like the Wolf Dragoons and just like you're guaranteed to take out like at least 2 of them. Just 2 of them are gone, and if you can get rid of 2 of them, then the rest of your lands can get rid of that. This here, if you are like a nasty dropship coming on top of you, or you've got the Wolf Dragoons landing, or the Waco Rangers, or whoever the hell it is that are dropping on you at the start, look no further. This is the friend you needed.
Yeah, and like I said, it's so fast. It just gets onto you.
God.
Like it's like it just gets onto you so quickly, and then it just starts like pounding your face in. It's like it was really, really good. But let's move on to the next one. So the next one is the Zeus SA3. This was also kind of the beginning of the savior of the Zeus. You know, like Kratos was killing all of the Greek gods, and it looked like that was going to be the end of the Greek pantheon. But then along came the Zeus SA3, another fantastic mech from the Solaris Showdown. Another good reason to get Solaris Showdown. And this mech, I mean, it had it all. Double PPCX, times 3 SRM6s. That I did 3 SRM 18 with the Artemis system, and then you can have both of the electronic weapons. I had Guardian ECM and Beagle Active Probe. It just walks up and blows things up. It's just so much close-range firepower, and it's not slow. It's not as fast as the Vest, but 64 kilometers is good enough. It's good for the point of the game you get it at. As an assault mech, most mechs are not that quick. So suddenly, basically, a Hunchback is very slow because there's so many light mechs. A Zeus is not slow because you're mainly fighting other slow mechs. So suddenly 64 kilometers feels much faster. And yeah, it just gets up on people, and then it just blasts them apart. Like SRM 18 and 2 PPCXs, there is no mech that's going to survive that for very long. You get up behind someone, you blast them. You get up in front of someone, you blast them. You get up to their side of them, you blast them. It just blasts people. It's like, I don't know what else to say about it. It just blasts people. What did you think, Sheriff?
Yeah, it just blasts people. That's what I agree with. I mean, I think the majority of the time when this thing was being used was actually during the DLC. And it definitely showed us true colors then. I like the mech. I quite like the BAP. Like I'm a really big fan of the BAP. I really love it. And when you know, you can just imagine in say like a city or something like that with the BAP, and you're just like identifying mechs, and then just absolutely like obliterating them with that fat ass arm of missiles. Yeah, I gotta be honest, very nice mech, and it was kind of like. In the same way that the Vest kind of saved the Highlander for us. To be honest, the Zeus SA3 saved the Zeus because we didn't get the Sukumish for ages. So yeah, wow, what a mech indeed.
And speaking of the Skokomish, this one has a bit of a story to it. So now we have the Skokomish. Now the story, I'll tell you a story real fast. We were like, you know, we just got into the talk about, like, what about tier lists? Because, like, we get asked about tier lists. And I said, well, what would we put on a tier list? So the Sheriff decided to just look up other people's tier lists. And so we saw a website with an official best mechs ranking. You know, I don't know if it was IGN or Kotaku. It was just one of those websites. And I'm like, okay, well, what do these basic bitch websites think? Like, there's no way they can have that educated of an opinion. And so in the list, they had, like, the Siren. I'm like, the Siren? That is not a good mech. What's going on in here? And then the Skokomish was in there. And the Skokomish, because of the Siren, I was like, the Skokomish can't be that good. Because if this guy thinks, like, he was saying, like, any archer. Any archer, top 10. You know, Siren, top 10. I'm like, I could understand the Agent Court being a top 10, but he said any archer is top 10. I'm like, this guy obviously has no idea what he's talking about. And because of that, I was kind of like, I don't know, the Skokomish, maybe it's all, you know, maybe it's just people don't know what they're talking about. Maybe it's that simple. I also had never gotten the Skoko-Mish before. Neither of us had. But when we did get the Skoko-Mish, I'm like, you know, I'm going to customize this thing. And what I did was I put a PPCX on it. I put an Artemis 24 with the SRM 24 with the Artemis system and an Arena supercharger. And when you do that, what you have is a mech that can go about 150 kilometers when it's sprinting. And when it gets behind, there was no mech that could survive a backshot from it. The most heavily armored mechs in the game, an elite piloted Atlas. Elite Atlas. So massive damage reduction. I went up right but killed it in one shot. One Alpha Strike. There was no mech. The Battle Master killed it in one shot from behind. And because it's so fast, it's not hard to get behind people. Now, you can also blow people up from the front. Just walk up right to them, Alpha Strike them. The shotgun choke effect on the Artemis actually really helps here because you're trying to get as much damage onto the center torso as possible. It blows everything up in one shot or two shots. Maybe if your aim is slightly off, you'll take a third shot. It shoots so quickly, though. The PPCX and the Artemis S-Arms are all very fast reloading. It blows the amount of shock damage it does. The only thing that can really match it would be a headshot from, like, the King Crab car. Like, just getting domed by the King Crab car. Like, otherwise, it's so hard to imagine other mechs being... And certainly not for sustained damage. Like, if something drops down on top of you, they will be very sad that they dropped on top of the Skoko-Mish, because the Skoko-Mish, its sustained damage is so high, its ability to just keep shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting, and it gets on top of you, like, instantly. 150 kilometers when it's sprinting, it does not take long for it to, like, jump on top of you. You tried it too, though, Sheriff. What did you think of it?
It's absolutely stupid. And I don't mean that in, like, a bad way. I mean that in, like, whoever invented it is crazy, a total psychopath. Obviously love the Zeus. This thing is just, it's just deplorable how strong it is. I honestly, when we were using the vest, I thought, well, we're not going to top that. That thing is like crazy. Well, I was wrong, because this thing tops it, and possibly tops every other mech in the game. I still think the King Crab car is a little bit better, because the one downside to this mech is that in a long-range firefight, you need to make sure you can close down the distance, whereas the King Crab car can really just like kill anything from anywhere. So, but having said that, this mech is outrageous. And you said earlier on that you think it might be in the top 5, top 3. I think this could be second place. I think there's a really strong chance that we get to the end of our set of playthroughs that there's very unlikely, in my opinion, to be anything that dethrones the King Crab car or the Skoko-Mish. And I would be prone to nearly say that's a guarantee. You know, just sort of knowing the other mechs are in the game. This thing is like absolutely insane. And we ran it in that mission, Fox, if you remember, where there was like was it a battalion of mechs or something stupid like that there, or whatever it was. And we ran it in the SA3, and we just literally just pounded through them all. Like literally every single one of them laid out within seconds. It was like the shortest mission I have ever seen. So yeah, I really, really like it. I think
it
like,
didn't
honestly,
matter what chassis that was. It didn't matter what pilots. Elite, veteran, assault, heavy. We killed them like it was Call of Duty. Like we're just walking through it like Call of Duty. Like we didn't take cover. We didn't stop. We just continued moving. We just moved in a straight line, and just anything along the way, we just destroyed it. Like there was no strategy. The strategy was just win. Like it was just like wow.
Yeah, we made mincemeat out of those guys, and yeah, I really like that. It's actually, I had a bit of a prejudice against the Zeus. I just did not like it, but this mech here is so damn good. Honestly, wowee.
Yeah, it really was like,
SA3.
Who would have expected it too? Like, who would have expected this kind of? I just wouldn't have expected it. It's just that simple.
No.
I'd never expected this out of the Zeus, especially out of an oddball hero mech that I'm like, you know. The Zeus, I didn't even the Zeus had a hero model, but like there you go, you have the Skoko-Mish, and those were our MVPs. So it was the Zeus Skoko-Mish, the Zeus SA3, the Highlander Vest, the Wolverine Quarantine, and the Wolfhound Grinner. Those were the mechs that had the biggest impact, and yeah. I think that's about everything. I guess we could do a second opinion. I do have a list on second opinions for the Loader King Indomitable and the Warhammer Black Widow. Do you
Bring
think
them
they should stay in the honorable mentions winner category, or do you think
Right.
either of them could be bumped up to the MVP status?
I do have an opinion on this. I thought about it. Put both of them in here so we can look at them again.
Okay, I'll do it. Let me bring
And
them up.
I'll tell you what I think. So,
Where is the Black Widow? Here we go.
the one thing I would say about them is we got them both very late. We didn't. They didn't have a. So the Zeus and the Highlander that we were using there, the vest and the Skoko mission, the SA3. The reason why they seem really good is because the rest of them are kind of crap, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
While the Black Widow is a very good mech, it's not like outrageously better than the rest. It does do better, and I would say the same for the Indomitable. The other Lunar Kings are still really good. Now, that's a harsh context to put into it. So here's my opinion. The Black Widow, extremely fun, not, in my opinion, MVP. The Indomitable, on the other hand, I think it is. I think it is good enough to be considered an MVP. That thing puts stuff in the dirt, and it's fun. It's like where the 4 AC2 rapid fires are really fun. It just maybe lacks a little bit of bite. This thing does not lack bite. This thing absolutely annihilates. I think the Lunar King Indomitable should be considered an MVP. I don't think the Warhammer Black Widow should though. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I can agree with that. Like, when they were together, like, I have not seen us hose down mechs at that
No.
range. Like, the last time I've seen that was when we were doing the King Crab car and the Mauler KO.
Oh my god, yeah.
And those mechs are much bigger than these, I would like to point out. Those are much bigger
Yeah.
mechs, whereas these mechs they have quite a bit of a tonnage disadvantage, so I was very impressed with their performance. I think I could agree to that, though, that the Warhammer Black Widow was quite good. Like, this is not a snub of the Black Widow.
No.
3 rapid-fire AC5s, though, turns out to be pretty wacky. I mean, that's why I didn't equip it with anything else. I'm like, that's probably going to be enough. And it's like, once you lock on, it does take some practice locking onto somebody, but once you lock onto them, it just, the sustained damage output is wacky. It's like, I mean, I felt it because the enemy were basically, this guy's got to go. Like, the entire enemy force was just like, let's concentrate on him because he's got to go. That's too much for us. It does make me interested in seeing how other mechs perform with rapid-fire ACs, though. Like,
Agreed.
it's definitely interesting.
But the reason why I know it's the Indomitables better is I'd rather have 2 of them than have 2 Black Widows. So
That's an interesting point.
That's how I know. Having said that, I don't want to just leave it where I say the Black Widow doesn't deserve it. I think it's definitely an MVP pairing, I would say.
The 2 of them worked out really well together. Like I
Yeah,
said,
they
we were cutting those guys down. There's no doubt about that.
But as a solo mech, I think this guy gets in and the other doesn't. That's my opinion.
No, I'll agree to that. So the Indomitable, we will add it as the 6th member of the MVP Council. Very, very nice. Well, it shows a pattern that the Zeus SA3, the Highlander vest, the Indomitable, all Solaris Showdown models, as well as a devastating weapon, the PPCX, and a devastating accessory, the Arena Supercharger.
And the rapid fires as well.
Rapid fire and the assault greatsword, all
Yeah.
things like. So one thing I'll say, while the campaign of the Solaris Showdown was pretty weak, the equipment is quite good. That's one thing I'll say about it. So, like, I mean, I will say that I still feel like I was disappointed by Solaris Showdown because, like, I really want the complete package. I don't like the fact that the campaign stinks, and although the weapons do help to make up for it, it is still like I might reconsider my rate because I think I gave it a 4 out of 5. Like, I didn't give it a good rating. The weapons and accessories and models are quite nice. Once I've used all of them, though, like the Orion. That Orion seems like it could be pretty nasty. But we haven't gotten to the Orion playthrough. But speaking of which, this is the final episode of this season. Let me show you guys what is going to happen next, because you guys get to have a say on the entertainment coming up. So, since this is the final episode, we are going to go on a 2-week break. Why are we going to go on a 2-week break? We have been playing MechWarrior for like 5 years. So, we need to not burn out. Like, you know, we can't just play MechWarrior day in and day out. It is just a way to pace ourselves so that we can play MechWarrior for who knows how long. You know, like, as long as Piranha... Basically, people are asking me, when will I stop making MechWarrior content? It's very simple. When Piranha Games stops supporting MechWarrior, that's when I will wrap up whatever projects I'm working on, and then I'll eventually move on to something else. But as long as Piranha Games continues to support MechWarrior, I will continue making content for it. That said, we have been playing it since it came out, so we do need a break from time to time. So for weeks, the 11th through the 17th, through the 18th through the 24th, I will not be doing MechWarrior, but what we will be doing in that time frame is there will be a vote. So you can see here, this is what you guys voted for originally. You can see here, the light mechs, the Wolfhound and Waven won. In the medium class, the Wolverine and Hunchback won. In the heavy class, the Thunderbolt and Warhammer won. And in the assault class, the Highlander, the Nightstar, and the Zeus won. And these are the votes right here. So I held these votes. The votes will be in the Discord. So if you want to vote for the next mechs, you got to be in the Discord. Speaking of which, let me go ahead and get you an invite into the Discord, because over the next 2 weeks, that's where the vote will be. The mechs that get the biggest, the most votes, those are the mechs that we will use. I will not be using equal numbers of mechs. We're starting to run out of light mechs, so I will use fewer light mechs, and then any mechs where we have too many to do, we will choose extra models from those so that we can kind of like bring balance to them. So that is going to be the plan going forward. If there are any questions, I will answer all of those, and then we are out of here. Dara says, thanks for a great season again, Fox, and co-host Dr. Sheriff Crab. Well, thank you for being with us, Dara. Deadly Nightshade says, a lot of useful information. Thank you. Well, once again, thank you, Mr. Deadly Nightshade. He's actually one of our super fans. He's the proud owner of a tattoo, actually. He has a GGF tattoo. You can see it in the art museum, which I will show right here. Look at that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's crazy. I was speechless when I saw it. I was like, even my comments there, very surreal. To think that I had a positive impact on someone's life, that they wanted to get a tattoo. Like, that's like, I will never forget that. Like I will remember that for the rest of my life. Like, no joke. Like, when I am dying on my deathbed, that's one of the things I'll remember. Like, that is a, like I said, that was a very surreal thing. Like, it's something I will never forget. As a result, and I'll never forget the screen name, Deadly Nightshade, as a result of that as well. Like, it's something, it's just a very, one of the most memorable events in the channel for me. But, yeah, it looks like we've answered all the questions. Any closing thoughts, Dr. Sheriff Crab?
Nope, it's been a really good run. I want to thank everyone for tolerating me for the last 37 episodes, and I'm looking forward to the next one. So please pick some good mechs. We need better mechs. Better mechs. But other than that, no, thank you very much, and thanks for having me as well, Fox.
Yeah, it's always, as usual, a humongous honor to play with you, Dr. Sheriff Crab. And I ordered a sandwich, so what I'm going to do is we're going to close this out. I'm going to get a sandwich, then I'm going to jump in the chat, and I'll probably take a shot of whiskey as a victory. But
I'll join you.
Number 6 says, sorry, I've been lurking tonight, but I really enjoyed the playthrough. Looking forward to the next. As usual, it is an honor to have you amongst us. Number 6. Chubby Deebit says, no, you're getting Urban Mech. I would not be surprised. Dara says, so Crab votes next season? Maybe. I mean, Urban Mech, Crab. I mean, it's like, I have some ways to try to bring balance to the force, but that is the end of this season, episode 38. As once again, thank you guys so much for on this very lengthy journey, a very comprehensive journey. Hopefully you guys learned a lot. Hopefully next time you play MechWarrior 5, you will know what mechs to go for and what mechs to avoid. Eventually, we will have tried every single mech in the game. It's a bit of a task, though. I think it'll take about 3 more playthroughs. I got more playthroughs after that, though. A PPC playthrough, because everyone gets on my case about it. An electronic weapons playthrough, because I just don't know. We will find out once and for all if they make a difference or not. Till next time, though. This is the Sheriff and the Fox signing out. Deuces, everyone, and remember that you don't have to be good to get good.